Welcome back, absolutely everybody, no matter the platform you watch this on. It is the 9th of June in the year 1871, and we have got the 5 and 9 Rockford Forest Citys at the 4 and 10 Troy Haymakers. If there's going to be any turnaround to either season, this is the game in which it needs to start. Rockford 14 games into a 32-game season. Troy is currently 14 games in as well to a 32-game season. So they're already past the third post, approaching that halfway mark very quickly. Actually, only a handful of games, only a couple of games away from the halfway mark here in the season for these two teams. So all the commentary we've done, we're almost at the halfway post, Chad. I would argue that's at the end of June, and we are in the 9th of June. So we're only about a third of the way through June, but nonetheless, I think once we get through June, I think a lot of the seasons are pretty much going to be well defined by then. Nonetheless, let's prepare to get into this game, shall we? With your two starting lineups, starting with the visiting Rockford Forest Citys. Leading off will be third baseman Cap Anson, batting .368 with 5 RBIs so far this season. George Hall, left fielder, bats second. He's got 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, batting .254 so far this season. Ross Barnes, the second baseman, will bat third. He's got a .323 average with 8 RBIs so far this season. Lip Pike bats fourth, the right fielder, batting .302. He's got 3 home runs, 11 RBIs this season. Doug Allison, the catcher, bats fifth. He's also got 11 RBIs this season. He's batting .340 on the season, .349 on the season. Sorry. Joe Stark, the first baseman, will bat sixth. He is batting .283. He's got 4 RBIs so far this season. George Bird, center fielder, bats seventh. He's got 8 RBIs and a .293 average so far this season. George Wright, the shortstop, bats eighth. .236 average for him, 4 RBIs. Dick McBride will bat ninth, the pitcher. He's batting .347, 2 RBIs so far this season. What's it, Jakey Boy Pro? Oh my God! Oh my God, Jakey! I saw you went live. I was sleeping when you went live. But I saw you went live with some like guitar play, man. How have you been, dude? Oh, it's been forever. Oh my God, Jakey Boy Pro. What a legend in what an absolute legend, man. Hell yeah, bro. It has been nice. How how have you been, man? I'm doing good, man. How about you? I'm doing great, bro. I retired from esports commentary and I'm streaming 6 days a week usually. 5, 6 days a week. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it so much, and there's an awesome community around here now. I think that with some fantastic people. I mean, some absolutely fantastic people, and yeah, it's been a blast, man. It's been an absolute blast. So I'm doing great, you know. I'm doing really honestly. The last year has been good. It's had its challenges, you know, but it's been good. Oh my God! Why didn't I hear that? Why did that not play? Why? Stream Elements is lagging, Stuart. That is not. I don't even see it in my. But thank you for the subscription, brother. If the alert does not come through, I will make sure to play it the next time you're here. But I don't know why Stream Elements is not caught that apparently. But thank you for. I mean, I have gotten a message that Stream Elements Live now has an update, and I postponed it for tonight because I figured I'm not streaming tomorrow, so I'll just launch OBS and do the update tomorrow. But the alert, I see the message. I've got it. You've subscribed for 6 months. Thank you so much, Stuart. But forgive Stream Elements. There it is. There it comes, and the video doesn't play. That's amazing to hear. I am still very much deep rooted in the esports industry. Nice. Let me see if I can get that to replay and actually get you the video this time. Of course, I just clicked replay activity and now it won't replay. But there you go. Yeah, I'm honestly, Jakey, I still do commentary myself. Like I actually commentated yesterday, but I do like mainly the only game I do is Unreal Tournament 2004. So there's like a community, mainly Russian, but a lot of Europeans as well, like Germans and whatnot are also in it. Some Frenchmen and damn a classic, yeah. Uh, and oh, Jakey, did you just sub as well? Because you just had the 3 month subscriber badge pop up. Is it not? No. Okay, not at all. What is going on with my? Let me refresh the Twitch chat in. Oh my god, it's just I'm bugging out. Apparently I'm bugged. It didn't give me an option to send it over. There it is. Oh, there's the replay. That's Stewart's replay. So I think it's mine. Don't worry. I've had that issue too. I usually refresh the tab and it works. But yeah, there you go, Stewart. There's your notification. But yeah, it's been odd tonight, man. But yeah, yeah. Let me refresh. Katie, what's good? But yeah, um, Stewart, thank you for the 6 months, my guy. So I appreciate you, my man. Uh, I got it. There it is. Yeah, I've had the same issue. Jakey, thank you so much, bro. It was never expected. Always appreciated. 5 months now for you, Jakey boy, bro. Awesome, man. Um, and your video popped up right away. Stuart had to wait for us. I'm here for the issues. Nice. There's plenty of them, Katie. You've been here before. You know I have issues. I have issues, and then OBS is just going to have issues on top of that and compile it all. I miss our Scuff CS:GO streams. You know what? I do miss working with the people I worked with a little bit in esports, like you and like Snicky and Parks and Ping and Icy and fantastic people, honestly. Genuinely fantastic people. But I don't miss CS, and I definitely don't miss what CS did to my fucking schedule. I mean, I had weekends where I would just commentate CS for 6 to 12 hours a day, and I would go back into work on Monday feeling like I didn't have any time to myself, you know. And I don't miss waking up at midnight to do tournaments. And you were, yeah, I don't miss waking up at midnight to do tournaments and going to bed at 5 a.m. and then waking up at Saturday at like noon, trying to reset my sleep schedule so I could go back into work on Monday. That was awful. So like on my body, you know what I mean? But I don't miss that. But now I love Football Manager. I got a great Football Manager save going. We got this awesome Out of the Park save going. It's been fantastic, man. Joking, Lowell, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's a rough time of the year for me, genuinely, but overall, I'm doing all right, actually. So this year's been really good to me. So, thank you very much, Wild Ryan, for the lurk. I appreciate you, bro. Um, but yeah, it's been great. So it's been an awesome year of streaming. I gotta say that it's great to see you as well. Not just the sub, but also the 35 stream streak. Holy moly! Even Zapagio's come in. Welcome in, my guy. 35 stream streak for Stuart. That's crazy. I hope you're well. I hope you're both well as well. Um, yeah. So I'm glad that you went live. I'm glad that you're doing well, Jakey, man. I'm glad that you're still in the esports industry. I know you got such a huge passion for it, dude. So I'm glad to hear that you're still knocking about in it. Because I know about 2 years ago it was like you didn't really know where the next opportunity was going to come. So the fact that you're still in it makes me really happy to hear. Uh, so right. I think it was at the introducing the pitcher for Rockford, who is going to be Dick McBride. 4-8 on the map. 4-8 so far this season. 2.85 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. The lineup for the home Troy Haymakers. Hitting up tier 1 stuff now. I was the in-game tech director for the main stage at EWC a few months ago. Apologies for derailing. You did not derail. anytime you come in, man, I make all the time in the world for you, brother. It's fantastic to see you, man. I am super glad to hear that you're hitting the tier 1 stuff up now. That's fucking awesome. That is absolutely fantastic, dude. Congratulations, man. That's an honor. Those are opportunities that you have worked very hard to get, man. And I'm very happy that you're finally getting them. The passion pays off. It definitely does. It definitely does. So I'm glad to hear that you've gotten those opportunities, brother. That's fantastic. So not just the passion as well, but the experience that you have in the industry as well. Let me run through the lineup for the Troy Haymakers real quick. Yeah, big congrats to him. Jimmy Holland, shortstop, will lead it off, batting .277, 3 RBI so far this season. Bill Craver, the second baseman, bats second. He's batting .242 with 5 RBI so far this season. Ezra Sutton, the third baseman, one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball right now. .328 average, 1 home run, a league-leading 15 RBIs, and he is tied on RBIs with the 4-spot batter of Fred Tracy, the left fielder. He's batting .375. He's got 2 home runs, 15 RBI so far this season. Jim Foran, the first baseman, will bat fifth. He's batting .288, 11 RBIs, 1 home run so far this season. Patty Quinn, batting .176, the center fielder. He's got 1 RBI this season. He's in the 6th spot. 7th spot is Frank Norton, right fielder. 2 RBIs so far this season, .364 average. Bill Lennon, the catcher, will bat 8th. He is on a .250 average with 8 RBIs so far this season. Pitcher Harry Wright bats 9th. .289 so far this season, 4 RBIs. We talked about Dick McBride, that 4-8 record, 2.85 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. His opposite on the Troy side is Harry Wright, 3-7, 5.44 ERA so far this season, 1.92 WHIP. Those are very high numbers. They'll be looking to get those down here. It is a 2:05 first pitch start. 998 will be in attendance. Wind blowing left to right at 12 miles an hour from the Haymakers ground in Troy, New York. The Rockford Forest Citys take on the Troy Haymakers here in this mid-season matchup. Cap Anson will lead things off for the Rockford Forest Citys. And before I'm gonna jump the queue because he deserves it. He's absolutely fantastic. He recently streamed. He does a lot of rocksmith and like guitar playing on his stream. But I'm gonna jump the queue here a little bit for shout outs because he deserves it. He's fantastic. The great Jake E-Boy Pro is an esports producer, cameraman, all things production and broadcasting, really. He is fantastic. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Jake E-Boy Pro is our sponsor for this first inning here tonight. Welcome in, Ziggurath. He's also a Brit. Oh, here he is playing some CS. There you go. Look at this clip. There you go. He's a CS producer and I guess maybe at times technical director as well. So yeah, yeah, I know. Oh my, that was it. Oh, I know. It looks at your top clips in your last 30 days, and if it doesn't find a top clip in your last 30 days, it pulls a featured clip from your channel. So no matter how old it is, so I have to go back and rewatch that one sec. Nice, right? Welcome in, Zig. Great to have you along. Let me just plug in and charge my phone because I was charging the headset a little bit, and it should have enough juice to get me through tonight's stream. But I need to make sure I have enough juice on the phone to get through tonight. So I have enough juice to get through tonight, period, and wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday too, but I'm off the 26th. So I have a 4-day weekend incoming. No stream on the 27th, by the way, because I'm going to see the babe on the 27th. That's gonna be really cool. Right. That was a throwback. I know. That's why I like seeing .gg for that. I think it's pretty cool. Sorry, I went to grab all good, bro. Right. Cap Anson settles into the batter's box here. He's going to lead it off. Harry Wright is the pitcher. I don't think he's going to last very long. Is that Lindigo? Thank you for the follow. Oh, normal bloke from Sheffield. Thank you for the raid. Jeff, I can give you a shout out now. Or imagine being from Sheffield. He's a big Wednesday fan as well. You got two options. I can give you your shout out now, or I can have you sponsor an inning, and we'll give you a shout out a little bit later. Whatever you want, bro. Damn, now I have Benny in stereo. Now I have yeah, I know. I got the stereo mic. No worries. How's the baseball going? We literally haven't pitched the pitch yet. You're literally joining us right as we're about to throw the first pitch. Zig, you said you were live. You were hoping it was TLS. I need time to do TLS because I actually won. For those that are not aware, for TLS, let me get you the clip very quickly. No, I didn't. That's not it. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I put it in self-promo soapbox on this channel. Hold on. If you guys are not aware, the final stream in Canada was Friday, and yes, we won the Canadian Championship. So, oh fuck! My spare laptop just blue screened. They did it, was much appreciated. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I was lurking in your channel. I actually have to go close your tab, bro. But I got so much going on right now, including my spare laptop just blue screening, just giving me the blue screen of death. So let me shut that down real quick. And then let me reboot that in the next half inning. Also, was just saying, thank you for the you are welcome, man. Let me go close your tab right now. So let me close that and this. So there we go. And then let me close Clans because Clan's going offline. And then Lulu's going offline. So let me close Lulu's tab. And, okay, there we go. Everybody's good to go. Okay, cool. Now I only got Chris and Frodank live. That's all I got left in there. I was in Badger's stream earlier, but I'm having an issue with Vivaldi and tabs constantly crashing, so I had to close one or two of them. Right. I was just saying I probably wouldn't be where I am without you in a random ESCA women's games we used to cover back in the day. Oh, don't be like that. That was just... I felt bad for keeping you up at fucking midnight, man, trying to come home and do the thing. That was a crazy time. I know if you're watching the recording of this, we haven't really moved. What's up, Pat? Because you said, guess what? And I never said what. But what's up, Pat? For those that don't know, Jakey Boy and I go way back. In 2020, there was not cable internet out. It wouldn't have changed it for the world. That means a lot, man. That you are so fucking kind. Thank you so much. And you know what the funny thing is? I was nowhere near as good a commentator in 2020 as you're still awake. Oh my god. As I was towards the end of my, like as I am now even. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you helping me as well. Dougie, thank you for the 3-stream streak. Great to have you in here. But for those that don't know, we're going to do a little story time, right? Because you guys might not know Jakey Boy Pro, right? I'd do it again if I could. You know what? I would too. So it's 2020. Cable internet is not available here, right? I don't have an internet connection strong enough to stream on my own, okay? I had DSL back then because that was the only thing that was available in the area. And for those that are here from the very beginning, you'll remember I did streams in 432p. That's how bad it was. 432p, not 720, not 1080. I was on 432p at like 600 kbps. That's how bad the internet was. That's all I could do. So I was having trouble streaming. I would go to solo I streamed. Oh yeah. So I was driving to a land center in Philly to do most of my commentary back in like 2019, 2020. So I would work in southern Jersey, and I would drive 30 minutes to Philly every night, and I would commentate in there. Well, not every night, but they were open Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, right? Saturday, Sunday, they were open at noon. I didn't work weekends, so I went there all day for 12 hours. But that's what I was doing. COVID happens, and they shut down because they're a non-essential business, right? I'm trying to still foster a commentary career because I'm only 6 months in the commentary. I'm like, I don't know how long this is going to last. So I'm working 80-hour weeks, and I'm still trying to fit in commentary. So I reached out to a lot of producers, and one of the guys was Jakey Boy Pro, and him and I worked probably most of the games I did during COVID together. And Jakey's in the UK, so the time difference was fucking awful for him because I would get home at like 7, 8 at night, and for him that's like midnight, 1 a.m. But I would pay him to do the games, and I would give him my stream key and stuff, and I paid him way less than what he deserved because I didn't have the money to pay top rate for it. But we, good night, have fun. Thank you for the 3 stream watch streak, Pat. Appreciate you. So, but that's what I did. I used to reach out every night, and I was looking for one like main producer that I could rely on instead of having to tweet every night like, hey, I want to cover an ESEA game. Can somebody stream it for me? So he was like, yeah. So we got an agreement together. I gave him my stream key. He would stream on my stream using his OBS, and we would both go into the game, or at least he would go into the CS game, and he would send me the feed on Discord. And that's how we commentated. And we worked like that. How long was it, Jake? It was like 4 or 5 months we did that, I want to say. And eventually, because they told me it was going to be like 12 weeks, they thought COVID was going to be. And I think eventually around like October, November 2020, I just flat out ran out of money. And then I was like, bro, I can't do it. I got to take a break because there's no way. I just couldn't afford it anymore. But yeah, the FIPO, who you guys have seen, he's a moderator of this channel. He did that. It was really good. It was really good fun because you and I, we get on like a house on fire at times. We got a pretty good sense of humor between us. So it was always a good time. Jakey's amazing to work with. Yeah, but that's how far back Jakey Boy Pro and I go. So, but yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a really good time. So, but yeah, I mean, Jakey and FIPO were like the 2 guys I used to work with a lot. FIPO helped me with a lot of the ambush female cups when I did those because I didn't have the internet to do them, and they were all remote during COVID, and they were once every 3 months. And he would be like, I'll do the same thing. I'll stream it on his computer using my stream key, and then we'll cover the games. So, and that's what we did. It was awesome. So, but yeah, Jakey's come from that to working tier 1 events, man. That's fucking so cool, dude. I love that. I would say you and Flippy Bits were like the 2 goats, man. Sounds like an awesome relationship. You have love it, yeah. Jakey and I go back like 5 years now, beyond more than 5 years. So, but yeah, he's a cool dude. He streams a lot of Rocksmith when he does stream. I mean, esports schedule's so grueling, he doesn't get a ton of time to stream, but he has thrown his stream up and done some Rocksmith on stream. He's big on guitar playing, so I would definitely give him a follow if you haven't already. He's our first ending sponsor this year. I'm gonna get into the baseball. Rockford's at Troy. Rockford 5 wins, 9 losses. Trying to get back into it now, a little quiet. I appreciate it. It's all good. Mossman, what's good? I'll shut up so you can do your thing. No, you don't have to shut up, man. We chill here first. We have a good time first, and then we play games second, you know? So, welcome in, Mossman. It's great to see you, by the way, bro. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. So scenario for those of you that come in: Rockford 5-9, 5 wins, 9 losses. Travel to Troy, 4 wins, 10 losses. And this is a big matchup because only 32 games in the season this opening season. So we're already 14 games into it for a lot of these teams. So they need to turn their seasons around right here, right now. Yeah, just been looking at Jakey Big Pro last stream and followed. Can't wait to catch a few streams. Good time. Jakey's awesome, man. Jakey is fantastic. So I'm very proud of you, Jakey. I'm very, very proud of you, man. It's awesome, dude. You're incredible. Here comes the first pitch from the Haymakers ground in Troy, New York. Definitely catch it live as VODs don't have music saved to the cup. Yeah, same here. Here's the first pitch. That's high and wide. Ball 1. If you guys, by the way, if you're new here and you see me looking down a lot, we have a scorebook that has every game that we play of Out of the Park. So I will be scoring this game as we go through it. Just a heads up for everybody out there. Has never steered me wrong. I'm surprised you say that, given the types of games I now play on stream. But right, here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is popped up into left field. Drifting foul. It will land foul. And we've got ourselves a 1-1 count. 1-1 the count. Harry Wright, here's the pitch. That's high, ball 2. It is 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That is right at the second baseman and caught for the first out of the inning. L4 is the putout. Different games and enjoy different things. Yeah, I agree. We just have fun here. That's the main thing. I get tied up a lot when I see other streamers talk. And one of my good streamers who I really enjoy following, Lulu Hardley, kind of had this discussion the other day on her stream. Before I get back, I'll get back to that. George Hall, the left fielder, will settle in. He is the next batter up. Here's the pitch to George Hall, and that is taken below the knees for a ball, 1-0. But she was saying, somebody was telling her, she shows too much of her personality on stream or she reveals too much. And I'm like, well, showing your personality and revealing personal information is different. Like, if you're reserved and you don't want to reveal, where you live or what you do or what you're, that's one thing. But, just being on stream and relaxing and having fun and joking around and, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I always told her, stop worrying yourself about, well, you should do this because this draws the most viewers, or you should do that. I'm like, just fucking have fun, man. I stream because it's a lot of fun. I should probably go to stream, but popped in to wish you a good stream. Thank you, Kicker. I appreciate you, bro. God bless. I have so many people to shout out. I do one an inning, so everybody gets an inning they sponsor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Kicker just grabbed the last inning, unless we go to extras. Magnificent beard, by the way. It's coming off in 6 days. Here's the 1-0 to Hall. That's swung on and missed. Strike 1. Yeah, it's coming off in 6 days. It's not popular with the person it needs to be popular with, unfortunately. Here's the 1-1 to George Hall. Swung on and missed. And it's 1-2. Oh, she's not coming around, but we're going to see each other. So, yeah. I got to give her a Christmas gift. So, right, here's the 1-2 to George Hall. He's lined that right at the second baseman as well. And that is the second out of the inning. So, right. Just have fun. The people who drop by and enjoy, you are the ones you want along the journey of streaming. Exactly. I told her the same thing. Use a small bow that makes a little present look bigger. Yeah, you know what? That's a really good advice. That's really good advice. I'll take it to heart, or maybe somewhere else. Well, if I won't see you again before Christmas, I hope you and everyone in the chat has happy Merry Christmas, Kicker. Thank you so much for stopping by, bro. But yeah, have a fantastic holiday, man. And get a good night's sleep, dude. I know it's late there. It's like freaking 1:30, dude. But yeah, thank you for popping in, dude. I appreciate you so much. So, of course. 2 down here in the top of the first. Ross Barnes, the second baseman, is going to be the next man in. Harry Wright on 8 pitches so far. Here is pitch number 9, and the first one to Wright. And that's taken below the knee. I'm sorry, to Barnes. That's taken below the knees, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's taken just off the plate. 2-0 is the count here. The 2-0 pitch to Ross Barnes. He's going to take that for a called strike. It is 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's below the knees, ball 3. And it's a hitter's count now, 3-1. Nobody on, 2 outs here in the top first. The pitch to Barnes. He is taking it high, ball 4, and Barnes has drawn a 5-pitch walk. That's a runner aboard for Rockford, but there is still 2 outs. Lip Pike will settle in, the right fielder. He has a joint league-leading 3 home runs so far this season. 4th one would put Rockford ahead by 2. Here's Harry Wright settling in. He throw over to first, and the runner is back in time. Here's the pitch. That's taken inside. Ball 1. The 1-0 pitch to Lip Pike. Called strike. The throw over to second. Not in time. And Barnes has stolen second base. So Barnes gets into scoring position here with 2 outs. It's a 1-1 count to Pike, but they got a runner in scoring position at least. Here's the 1-1. Throw over to second, and the runner is back safely. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded over to second base. On to first. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. And Lip Pike is aboard on an E4. It's an error on the second baseman, Bill Craver, who is credited with it. Going to third on the play is Ross Barnes. And now runners on the corners with 2 outs. That's going to bring up Doug Allison. That .349 batting average, one of the highest on the team, could come into play here because he's got a runner 90 feet away. Doug Allison selling in. Here is the first pitch down. Throw over to first. And the runner is back in time. Here's the pitch to Allison. That's in the dirt. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Doug Allison. He is swung on, and that is a fair ball. It's into right field. It's runs for Rockford. Barnes goes home. He will score. Pike gets to second, and Doug Allison has got himself an RBI single here in the top of the first to put the Rockford Forest Citys ahead 1-0. How costly is that error now by Bill Craver? Because the inning could have been done and over with. And now Rockford have managed to take the lead. 2-1, 2 out here for Joe Start, the first baseman. He's going to be settling in. Here's the first pitch to Start, and he is going to take that off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Start, and that's grounded over to first. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, and they leave 2 aboard. We go bottom first here in Troy. Rockford have opened up an early lead. It's 1-0. Leading off for the Troy Haymakers will be shortstop Jimmy Holland, and we have the ads only in 12 minutes because I yap so much at the beginning. So unfortunately, instead of a minute break I usually take in the middle part of the innings, I'm gonna have to take the full 3-minute ad break. So we will be back. How's the hoagie? Excellent, dude. I loved it. It's so good. Did you see the photo on Discord of how long it was? It was the whole length of my forearm. That's how long the hoagie was. And it was excellent. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's... Man, make fun of American portions all you want, but goddamn was that good. Right. Like I said, I usually take only 60-second ad breaks in the middle part of the innings But I wanted to tell that story about Jakey Boy because him and I go way back, and I got all the respect in the world for him. So I am going to have to take the full 3-minute break here at the first inning. So I'll be back in 3 minutes with more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Right, welcome back. Bottom first here in Troy, New York. Rockford leading 1-0. Jimmy Holland in the shortstop settling in for the first pitch from pitcher Dick McBride. If you guys have any questions about baseball or out of the park, I'm also happy to answer them as well. It's a fantastic game. Here's the first pitch. That is a called strike. And it is 0-1 to Holland. But yeah, glad you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing well at least. Fantastic to have you along. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Holland. He has popped that up right behind third base. Third baseman's there. You don't got to move much. He makes the play. And Holland in on 2 pitches is retired. P5 on the putout as he will sit down. Bill Craver will be the next man up. A lot of people compare it to cricket, which is understandable. But honestly, if the British played cricket, or at least if the English played baseball, I should say, they certainly couldn't do any worse than what they've done in the Ashes. And I mean that by no offense. The first test was over in 2 days. I've never seen a test match over in 2 days before. That was incredible. I was shocked. I was like, oh my god. So, yeah, the Ashes was crappy. Yeah, it was. Like, even if you're an Australian and you're happy you won, like, Cello! Thank you, brother. This is a weird-looking off-season in Iceland, yeah. I meant to finish my point on to Zig in a minute, but real quick. Thank you very much, Cello, for the 2-month streak, man. I don't keep up with the Ashes. What I was going to say, I appreciate you, Cello, by the way. I hope you're well, brother. It was great seeing you last night on stream. No, what I was going to say was, even if you're a fan of, like, Australia and you were like, yeah, you know, you're happy you won the Ashes, like, you kind of want to see good competitive cricket at some point, right? Like, especially over a 5-test series, you want something, and it's just, I mean, like, the third test was probably the most competitive, at least, and it went 5 days at least, but, like, England have not looked anywhere remotely close to being in any of the tests, and that kind of it's kind of not been a very good Ashes series. The point I was going to make to you, Zig, was that the Iceland offseason in Football Manager is extremely long. They literally, their last game of the season was the 30th of October. They have the League Cup in February, which is cool, and I'm going to come back for that. But then, if you don't make it out of groups, the League Cup ends for you in, like, March, and the actual season doesn't begin until May. So, like, it's almost like you have 2 preseasons. And we're a second division team that's semi-professional with a lot of semi-professional contracts that's going to be drawn into a group in the League Cup against top-flight professional clubs. So it's like, we're not gonna, like, it's gonna be a long off season. Who did you go to? I actually have the emote. I took time to put the emote in the other day. I've also fixed the MLS emote, but there you go. KA in Iceland, which supposedly is pronunciated like Natspernufalog, is the name of the club. So, yeah, that's where we went to. Going to be interesting. The average attribute, I've been in 3 countries now in FM. The average attribute in Korea is 11. And the average attribute in Canada was 9. The average attribute in Iceland is 8. So it's literally the weakest of the 3 nations I've been to. Korea is still the strongest country I've managed in. Right. Here's the first pitch to Bill Craver as he settles in. 1 out, nobody on. That's taken inside, ball 1. But thank you again, Cello, for the 2-month sub, bro. I got you written down. I appreciate it. Stream Elements was being a bit wonky there at the start of the stream, but it seems to have resolved itself. Welcome in. Hope you're well. Gesundheit, yeah. Well, I know KXJ, who is Icelandic himself, and comes by the stream quite often. He might have his head in his hands by the time we're done in Iceland, because there's no way I'm going to be even close to pronunciating those player names closely. Okay, the team that plays in the fuck knows where in Iceland. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, here's the 1-0 real quick, and that is below the knees, 2-0. What I think is interesting is they share an under-19s team with 4 other clubs. It's a joint U19 team with 4 other clubs. Here's the 2-0. That is off the plate inside, 3-0 already to Bill Craver. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and he has grounded that over the third. The throw over to first, it's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. Craver's aboard on an E5. And that is going to be Cap Anson who gets credited with the error. Yeah, they play in Akureyri, which is north coast of. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what they're called. They're called That's actually what they're called. Natspernufalag accurately. That's as close as I'm going to get to pronunciating that second part. But yeah, that's the full name of the club. So that's where the KA comes from. Right, one on. It's a 5-hour drive from Reykjavik. Wow. For an island that small, that's fucking far. Ezra Sutton will settle in at the third baseman. Sutton has a league-leading 15 RBIs so far this season. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Sutton, and that is a called strike down the center of the plate. It is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away. 1-1. The throw to second is not in time, and Craver has stolen second base. I bet it doesn't help that there's no real road that cuts through the center of Reykjavik either, you know, or not Reykjavik, Iceland, you know. So you have to go like pretty much all the way around. Right, Craver on second now. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's high and away. 2-1. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. 2-2 the count now to Ezra Sutton. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is taken below the knees. Ball 3. Full count to Sutton now. And here's the pitch. Grounded over to third. The throw over to first, and that's in time for the out. 5-3 is the scoring decision on the putout. And that'll be two out with 1 on. Fred Tracy, left fielder, comes in. He settles in now. He's also got a joint league-leading 15 RBIs so far this season. 2 home runs as well, so he's got a little bit of power to back it up as well. Runner in scoring position, 2 out in here. Here's the first pitch to Tracy. And he has fouled that to the backstop. It is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He's popped it up behind home plate. Catcher's there. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go top second here in Troy. Rockford leading by a score of 1-0. New inning means it's time for a brand new shout out and a brand new sponsor. Oh my, if I could type. Blockbuster is a Rainbow Six Siege, Football Manager, Warzone, and F1 streamer. He's also been playing a bit of Rocket League with Skull. He streams intermittently now because he's in university, but he's a pretty cool kid. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Blockbuster V20 is our sponsor for this second inning here tonight. Let me write Cellophane down in the viewer list so I can star his name. I'll give him a shout out later. Right, second inning here, top second. George Bird, center fielder, will be the first man into the batter's box. Harry Wright on 20 pitches so far. He's not really got a whole hell of a lot of stamina, so I don't think he's going to go very deep into this game. Here's the first pitch from Wright, and that's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. 0-1 pitch to George Bird now. That is taken right on the inside part of the plate. Umpire says it caught the black. And that's 0-2 now to George Bird. Here's the 0-2. That's taken high, ball 1. 1-2 pitch. That's fouled into the seats. It'll remain 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. 1 away now. Shortstop George Wright will settle in. Here's the first pitch to him. And he's grounded that foul. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate away. It's going to be 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to George Wright. Swung on and missed. 0-2, or 1-2 is the count. Here's the 1-2 pitch to George Wright. That is lined back up the middle, base hit. And Wright is aboard. He'll get himself a single. And now there's one on with one out here in the top of the second for Rockford. Not the quickest runner on the team, but he's still got some pace, George Wright. We'll see if they want to maybe cheat him over and steal second. Pitcher Dick McBride is the batter. Here's the first pitch to McBride, and he has lined this into center field way back there. And that's a base hit. That's going to be extra bases. And just like that, it's a double. George Wright gets to third on the double by Dick McBride. And now there's two runners in scoring position with just one out. We go back to the top of the order, and Cap Anson, who lined out to the second baseman, his first at bat so far today. Here's the first pitch to Anson. That's taken off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Anson, and he has popped that up in the deep center field. This might be enough to get the runner in from third. The catch is made. Does he tag up is the question. Yes, he does. And it's an RBI. It's an F8, but it is also an RBI as Cap Anson drives the ball deep enough into center field that George Wright can tag up from third. Dick McBride will stay at second, and now it's 2-0 Rockford. RBI sac fly for Cap Anson. That'll bring up George Hall. He also lined out to the second baseman, his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Hall, and he has grounded that to the shortstop. The throw over to first is in plenty of time, and the side is retired. One run on two hits, and they leave one aboard. We go to the the bottom of the second inning, and Rockford have doubled their lead. It's 2-0. Due up first for the Troy Haymakers will be first baseman Jim Foran. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We will be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom second in Troy. Hometown team trailing by a score of 2 runs to nothing. Jim Foran, the first baseman, settling in. First at bat here today for him. Dick McBride on 14 pitches after the first. And here's the first one here, the second, to Jim Foran. He's going to take that on the outside part of the plate for a strike. And it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Foran. That is lined into left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And Foran has got a leadoff single here for Troy. 1 on, nobody out. Here's Patty Quinn, center fielder, settling in. First pitch to Quinn. And that's a ball to throw over to second. Not in time. And Jim Foran has stolen second base. Right, 1-0 pitch. Here it is. He's grounded that foul. 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Grounded that to the backstop, and it's 1-2 now to Jim Foran. I'm sorry, to Patty Quinn. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That is grounded over to short. The stop, the throw over to first is a bad throw, and it's another E6. Last time was an E5, Cap Anson. This time it's an E6. And that is shortstop George Wright who gets credited with the error. Foran makes it to third base successfully, and now Rockford have done well to get ahead in this game 2-0, but they are being threatened with runners on the corners and nobody out so far. Frank Norton settles in, the right fielder. Here's the first pitch. That's a ball, 1-0. The throw over to second, and Patty Quinn is safe. He's stolen second base. The pressure keeps mounting, as it means there's 2 runners in scoring position now and nobody out still. A 1-0 pitch, and that's grounded foul down the third base side. It'll be 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's inside for a ball, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Grounded back up the middle. Shortstop's there. He gets the throw over to first, and they get the out while managing to hold the runners. 6-4 on the put out. Nobody moves. And Rockford have at least got the first out. Here's the first pitch to Bill Lennon, the catcher, who settles into the 8th spot. He's going to take a called strike at the lettering. Oh, 1. Here's the pitch. That's off the plate away, 1-1. Dick McBride into his stride, delivers. And that is shot into center field way back there. It's off the top of the wall. It's going to be runs for Troy. Sliding into second base is Bill Lennon, and he's got himself a 2 RBI double. And just like that, this game is tied. I just wrote 2B instead of 2 RBI, and then I erased it and I wrote 2B again. Why have I done 2 RBI? That's what he got. There we go. What have you sent me? You think this guy looks good? Let me see. Let me go into Vivaldi here. Click your link, or not to be. Yeah, I know. What is it? You say no Torre, right? 26 years old. What league are you in? That's the big thing. Who are you managing and what league are you in? Egyptian Prem. Yes, I think he's good. For the Egyptian, if you were to say the Bundesliga, I would say no. I would say 2 Bundesliga. But for Egyptian Prem, yeah, I think he's good. So I think he's fantastic actually for any African league. But yeah, he would be solid. He'd be very solid. Love it. He's got my vote. It's hard to do Egypt. Why is that? Harry Rank, the pitcher, settles in. You're only limited. Oh, okay. So it's like Korea. Korea was a little difficult, but I think the thing with Korea is there is definitely Korean talent in there somewhere. That generates. So once you get a little, what I find is like once I got a little bit of money and I had a transfer budget, then it became a lot easier to do Korea because I could buy Korean players, and then I can get my foreign players. I want my 4 or 5 foreign players, and then boom, everybody else. Oh, I have a transfer budget now. Great, I can buy the Korean talent off other teams. Harry Rank settles in. This is the first pitch to him. And check swing. They look at first base. The umpire there says he didn't go. And it is going to be ball 1. Egyptian talent gets hoovered up by AI or by Al Ahly, Zamalek, and Pyramids. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That was. Korea's kind of the same way. Like the moment you get any big talent, like Seoul, Junbuk, Suwon want them. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's hard to hold on to them, but at some point it's going to fuel your foreign purchases. And then once you get foreigners in there that are like way over the top in talent, then some of your Korean talent is like interchangeable. So if you sell one guy, it's kind of okay, and Here's the 1-0. That's inside, ball 2. But yeah, there was a point at Gimpo, and I think you saw it with us being at Gimpo. There was a point where, as we were coming up, when we were finishing 6th, the 2 years after promotion, the other Korean clubs wanted our players. And it became hard to hold on to them. And then as players wanted to stay at Gimpo, right, and we bought big foreign players and they started doing well, foreign clubs wanted them. So we were getting poached. First we were getting poached by Korean teams for Korean talent. And then once we brought in some big name foreigners, they wanted to be poached by Europe. So right, here's the 2-0. That is taken for a called strike. It's 2-1. That's why I loaned back so many players. I was like, give me a loan back, Here's the 2-1 pitch. That is lined right at the shortstop, and that is the second out of the inning. L6 on the putout. That's going to bring up Jimmy Holland, and he popped up to the third baseman his first at bat. First pitch to Holland. That's taken for a called strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded over the short. The throw on the first. It's in time. He got him. 6-3 is the final decision, and that is that. 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go to the top of the 3rd. It is a Just going to lurk while I eat and watch some YouTube videos. Sounds good, Jakey. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you, brother. It's great hearing from you again today. If you stream again some point this week, I'll make sure to swing by. I think, like I said, I think the last 2 times you went live, I think the one time I was asleep, and I think the other was the one day in 8 months I actually went into the office. And I couldn't watch. I was like, God darn. I went into the office on Friday, and it was the first time in 8 months I'd been into the actual office. So, and I think that was one of the 2 days you were streaming. But yeah, if you do it again, I'll make sure to stop by. I'm gonna come hell or high water, man. Right. Much love as always. All good, my guy. New inning. It means it's time for a new shout out / sponsor. Pixelated Suits is an awesome American streamer who streams all sorts of games, including Fallout 76, Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7, Rematch, the Oblivion remake, and Football Manager. Give him a follow. He's a super kind individual from upstate New Jersey. Pixelated Suits is our sponsor for this 3rd inning here tonight. Two-2 game here. Ross Barnes settles in. He drew a 5-pitch walk his last at-bat. Here's the first pitch to him. And that's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's grounded. Foul. It'll be 1-1 or 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's taken below the knees for a ball. 1-2. Here's the 1-2. That's high. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Lined into right field, and where is that going to land? Foul is the answer. It remains 2-2. Here's the pitch. And that's lined right at the shortstop for the first out of the inning. L6 on the put-away. If you're new to baseball, each position has a number. So when you score it, the number tells you who made the play. So it's always pitcher is 1, catcher is 2, first baseman is 3, second baseman is 4, third baseman is 5, shortstop is 6, left fielder is 7, center fielder is 8, right fielder is 9. So when you write P9, it means it was, or when you write, say, P5, it means it was a pop-up that the third baseman caught. When it's a ground ball and, say, the second baseman throws it to the first baseman for the out at first, you just write 4-3. And that's it. It explains every play. F9 means it was a fly ball that the right fielder caught. For those of you that don't know anything about baseball, that's how it's scored. So as you go down the innings, you can see play by play what happened for each batter. Right, Lip Pike settling in. He reached via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Pike. That is on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded to the backstop. It's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's below the knees, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Thanks for the shout out. Thank you for being here, Pix. I appreciate it. How was your weekend, man? I hope it was good. Here's the 1-2. That is lined back up the middle, base hit. Lip Pike is aboard. He's got himself a single. No stream tomorrow, by the way. Out of the park on Tuesday. So we're going to do another. I am so far behind on uploading the Out of the Park games, by the way. We're going to play Timon on Wednesday. And then I'm hoping by Christmas Day I've completed the off season for Iceland. And I can get up to the League Cup, and we can play the League Cup. Right, Doug Allison, the catcher, is coming up to bat. He had an RBI single his last at bat. Let's go Oilers. Here's the first pitch to Doug Allison. That is taken for a called strike. Throw over to second, not in time. Limp Pike has stolen second base. He's got himself a stolen base here. Runner in second. One out. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Throw over to second, and the runner is back safely. Here's the pitch. That's off the plate away. 1-1. Here's the 1-1. And that is lined into right field, base hit. It's a single for Doug Allison. Going to third is Lip Pike, and now it's runners on the corners with one out here for Rockford. You know what I had picks? I think it was Zig. It might not have been Zig, so forgive me, Zig, if I am actually wrong in the end, if we come to find him wrong. But I think Zig said he wanted to see what a hoagie was like over here. So I ordered a Primo hoagie, and that's what I had today and yesterday. So I'm sure you saw the photo in the Discord in the food section, but well, was it good? Right. Joe Start settles in. He grounded out to the first baseman his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. Swung on a miss. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. 0-2 to Joe Start. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's inside. Ball 1. Here's the 1-2. I don't know where that missed, but it's called a ball. 2-2. Here's the 2-2. That's grounded back up the middle, another base hit. And Start's got himself an RBI single, and it's an error on the center fielder as well. So it's an RBI single. But Start gets to second. Going to third is Doug Allison. Pike will score. And Rockford have reclaimed the lead by a score of 3-2. Center fielder gets credited with an error. That's Patty Quinn. And now it's runners in second and third with one out. George Bird is the next man up. He struck out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Bird, and he takes a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate inside, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that is lined into left field, base hit, and George Bird has got himself an RBI single. Going to third is Start. Doug Allison comes in to score. And Rockford have reclaimed a 2-run lead. It's 4-2. Shortstop George Wright will settle in. He had a single his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Wright. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. What's up, Shawnee? I think I should retire in my FM24 Ipswich save. I managed to get them promoted back to the Premier League and picked up more points in my first game than Wolves have managed all season. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Welcome in, Shawnee. I don't think you need to retire. I think you need to send your CV to Wolves right away. They could use you. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Throw over to first, and the runner is back in time. You could hardly do any worse than what yeah, that's true. They're the only team I know of that managed to score all 3 goals in a game and still lose. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a called strike. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Grounded over to second. To throw onto second and back onto first. It's a double play. 4-6-3 double play. Ends the inning. And the side is retired. 2 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, and Rockford have jumped back out into the lead. It's 4-2. Due up first for the Troy Haymakers is second baseman Bill Craver, who reached via an error his last at bat. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back, bottom 3rd here in Troy. 4-2 Rockford with the lead. Dick McBride settles in 33 pitches through the first 2 innings. He's got Bill Craver in the batter's box, who reached via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Craver. And he has popped that up in the infield. Shortstop over to make the play, and he does. One pitch, one out, and here Craver's retired. Ezra Sutton is the next batter. He grounded out his last at bat, or his first at bat here today. Here's the first pitch to Sutton. And he's popped that up right next to home plate. Catcher's there, and now it's 2 pitches, 2 outs, as Sutton is retired. That'll bring up Fred Tracy, the left fielder. He popped up to the catcher his last at bat. First pitch to Tracy. Inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is shot in the left field. Does it stay fair? No is the answer. One pitch. That's a called strike, and it's 1-2 now to Fred Tracy. Here's the 1-2. And he's popped this up. Shallow infield. Third baseman said he makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go top 4th here in Troy, and Rockford's got a 4-2 lead. New inning means it's time for a new shout out and a new sponsor. DM Stewart is a fellow commentator of all things retro games, including the Final Fantasy Randomizer. Here he is playing some Final Fantasy. Love the original Final Fantasy. Absolutely love the original Final Fantasy. Whew. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, give him a follow if you haven't already. He also posts in our Discord about when he goes live commentating things like Final Fantasy Randomizer. I gotta play this game again. I love the original FF. It's hard as hell. It will beat the crap out of you, but you know what? I love it. It's such a great game. Yeah, give him a follow. DM Stewart is our sponsor for this 4th inning here tonight. Harry Wright is still on the mound despite his utter exhaustion. Dick McBride is the man in the batter's box. He had a double his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to McBride. And he's lined that into right field for a base hit. It's a leadoff single for Dick McBride, who is 2 for 2 here tonight. That'll bring the top of the order back into play here in Cap Anson. He's 0 for 2 so far today with an RBI. Here's the first pitch to Anson. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Grounded over to first. And over to first. Safe is the call. The pitcher didn't get over in time. And it's an infield single. The first baseman, Jim Foran, came off his bag to make that play. Look back at first, and Harry Wright was slow to get on the bag. That allowed Anson to beat the throw. McBride's now on second. I think it was a little bit of a mix-up, too, because Craver came over to play the ball instead, and had he covered the bag, maybe they could have gotten the lead runner in Dick McBride. He doesn't have the pace that Anson has. Throwing him out at second might have been the easier play, but it was a mix-up, and they don't get an out at all as a result of it. And just like that, Harry Wright is done. He pitches 3 innings. He only lasts 3 innings. And Joe Simmons will settle into the batter's box now. Or onto pitcher's mound, I should say. And his first pitch is lined into right field. It's another base hit. George Hall gets a single himself. He goes to first. Anson gets to second. McBride is held at third. And it's bases loaded. Nobody out for the for the Rockford Forest Citys. And that brings up Ross Barnes. Barnes has got a lot of power and contact. He's got a really good eye. He's yet to homer, and he's got an opportunity here, not just to do so, but to provide a grand salami here, the grand slammy. Can he do it? Here's the first pitch to Ross Barnes. Off the plate away, ball 1. Here's the 1-0, and he's grounded that to the backstop. It'll be 1-1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. High and away, ball 2. The 2-1 pitch. Grounded to the backstop again, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And he has lined that foul down the third base side. We remain 2-2. Here's the 2-2. And he's check swing. The throw to home is not in time. And Dick McBride scores. It was a passed ball. The catcher failed to block it. Going to third base is Cap Anson. Going to second is George Hall. Dick McBride scores. And it is 5-2 for Rockford. A player just bitched at me because I signed another player in this position, told him to earn his place a day later, tears his ab muscle and is out 3 months. Karma. That is karma. Right. No more grand salami for Ross Barnes, but still an opportunity here to really put some hurt on Troy. 3-2 count. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. He takes it below the knees. And he passes the baton to Lip Pike. Pike is joint leader in the league in home runs. He is 1 for 2 so far today. And here is the first pitch to him with the bases loaded and nobody out. Off the plate away, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. And he's lined that back up the middle base hit. It's going to be a run at least. The throw comes into second base. Runners there. Limp Pike's got himself an RBI single. And Rockford have got themselves a 6-2 lead. Coming in to score is Cap Anson. Hall goes to second. Hall goes to third. Barnes goes to second, and just like that, it's 6-2 Rockford. I felt like I was on the bad end of that on the save on Friday, because I gave Saloof was out with an injury, Zig, and they said you can give him an injection to get through his next match. And I said, well, the next match is literally the last game for 5 months, so yeah, I'm going to give him the injection. Because I'm leaving Canada anyway, and it's a Canadian championship, and I want to win it. The dude plays 15 minutes and then gets hurt anyway in the game. And I'm like, God, I was so upset. I was like, God damn it. He's one of the best guys I got. I gave him an injection to get through the game, and he gets hurt in the game anyway. Right, here's the first pitch to Doug Allison now. Allison grounds that to the backstop. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is grounded over to first. The throw on to second is in time. And it's a fielder's choice for Allison. RBI on the fielder's choice. Does fielder's choice count as an RBI? I'm not 100% sure. Let's check that real quick. Doug Allison's either going to have 2 RBIs on the box score, or is he going to have 1? Allison has 2 RBIs on the box score, so it counts as an RBI. So it's an RBI. It's a fielder's choice, 6-4 RBI. Coming in to score is George Hall. Going over to third is Ross Barnes. Pike is the one that's out at second. You bring in players with you to Iceland? Probably not, because, well, I mean, the redeems are still there. You can still redeem to force me to sign a player. That is possible. But probably not, because chasing.
I intend to live by my own code now.
What's good, Chasing Lamely? How was your stream? Did you do both FM and Project Zomboid? I saw you were on FM earlier, but welcome in, Raiders. I probably won't be able to bring players to Iceland with me, Zig, because the club is semi-professional and not professional. So I'm not even allowed to offer full-time contracts because the club's in such financial debt. It's more, I'm probably going to have to, like, unless it's forced via the channel redemptions, like, I'm probably not bringing anybody over. And the choice of raid became obvious for the night. What's up, Chasing? What's up, Kit? What's up, Liam? We kept it chill. Nice. Is FM chill? That might be a loaded question I just asked. Welcome in, Liam. Welcome in, Kit. Welcome in, Chasing Lamely. Let me give you a shout out while we're at it. I'll give you your shout out now because I have everybody who's a sponsor already. FM is chill when you are winning. Yeah, that's why I asked it. FM, I was sweating buckets on Friday, by the way. Give me a second. Right, if you guys aren't already following Chasing Lamely, go follow them. They're a pretty cool streamer. They stream Project Zomboid. They stream FM as well. Real fun channel to just conversing, really. Chasing Lamely. Give them a follow. Thank you for the raid, Lamely. So, yes, we beat Celtic 4-3. Well, you know what? I saw somebody post something today about Celtic, and I think he's kind of right. Now, I do think that Wilfred Nancy has gone in there a little too full of his own, like a little bit too full of his own ego, and I think that's been a big problem. I still think he's a good manager. I just think he's getting humbled a little bit by sport because he's gone in a little bit too big-headed. But I mean, they generated 4.53 XG in their last match. 31 shots, 10 on target, 7 big chances, and they've missed 4 of them. And so it's like, I don't even think, somebody said if Celtics attacker shot at Tupac, he'd still be making music. Because honestly, they just haven't been able to finish. And the one that they lost over the weekend in the SPFL as well, not to Rangers in not the old firm term. I know that Celtic had a lot of good chances in that one too. So they've got to freaking finish their strikers. That's the big problem Celtic have right now. It doesn't matter what manager you put in there. If strikers don't score, you're not going to win games. The Dundee game, yeah. They had a lot of big chances in the
I
Dundee
owe
game.
allegiance to no entity.
Steven!
I intend to live by my own code now.
Welcome in, man. How are you? Yeah, they had a lot of good chances in the Dundee game, and they didn't fit. Like, what are you going to do if your strikers can't finish? We're going to be playing F1 Manager 24 with the 2026 mod when it's finished properly, too. Nice. Had more frustrating stream results. Oh, that sucks. I think Celtic have made a really, really poor managerial choice here. To be honest, the man they needed was obvious for me, but Celtic are becoming Spursy. I'd have hired Mourinho. Mourinho probably wouldn't have gone there. I'm good. Just played some FM with the Burrows. Nice. How'd it go? I welcome in. Let me give you a shout out, and then I can actually answer Chasing Lamely's question. I'm so behind Hearts this year anyway. Little chance of it. But rooting for the Hearts are the team I would choose in Scotland if I supported a team there. So yeah, I'm same, but I don't think they've made a poor managerial choice. I don't think Nancy's a poor manager. I think he's gone in a little too full of himself, and I think that's why he's losing the locker room a little bit, right? But I don't think you can say he's a bad manager because of the success he's had the last 5 years in MLS. I just think this happens all the time, right? I think managers, sometimes when managers get a period of success, they get a little bit too full of themselves. Players do the same thing. It's very human. And sport has a way of humbling you, and I just think that's what's happening with Wilfried Nancy right now, is that he's being humbled a little bit because he's gotten a little bit too big for his own britches, maybe. Beat Spurs 6-3 and Chelsea 4-0. Nice. If anyone, they should have taken Ange back. That's true. Looks like I chose right timing. Steve was my other choice, but historic baseball swayed me. Signed players like Gabriel Jesus, Spencer Wall, and Krushvanov on loan from City. And as well as Bernal on loan from Barcelona. Fucking very nice. Jesus. You never go back. Yeah. Right. Let me give Steven a shout out because he's a class streamer. Night, Benny. Send me somewhere cool. I will try to, Zig. I don't really have anybody on tonight. I copied and pasted the wrong guy, but go follow Zig anyway. Zig is awesome. He does a network save. He streamed a network save tonight with KJ Plays, Hlu, and a few others. He also has a network save with Bubba McGinty, and he's been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with Bubba McGinty. So go give him a follow if you haven't already. The great Ziggurath. I meant to do you, Stephen, and then I copied the wrong name because the chat moved up when I was copying. When I was trying to drag it, the chat moved up, and I messed up. I'll get you next once that's off cooldown. Right, to answer Layman's question, yes. So Out of the Park Baseball is like Football Manager. It is FM for baseball. But they have licensed the MLB, right? So they have all of the licensing and the imaging and all that for Major League Baseball. What that also means is they have the history of every player that's played baseball. So when you start a save in Out of the Park Baseball, you can start in the current year, 2025, like you would if you were playing FM, or you can choose to start your save in any season going all the way back to 1871, before Major League Baseball even existed. So, yeah, I know Sean's on, but he'll probably be done before we finish here tonight. So we started in 1871, which is the very first year of professional baseball in the history of the world. So the very first league of professional baseball was the National Professional Baseball Players. And it was in 1871. And yes, the nice thing about Out of the Park is these are all the historical players that exist. If you go and look up the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, Cap Anson is on there. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Fred Tracy's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ross Barnes, who's on third base right now, right here, he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. These are all real players. These are the real teams. These are the real stadiums. Of course, that they didn't have screens back then, but the Haymakers ground was a real stadium. It wasn't even a stadium. It was more like a park because that's what they played baseball at back in the day. But yeah, what do you do in this game? Never seen it before. So normally you would manage the team, and you can manage them on an at-bat to at-bat basis. You can tell this guy swing. You can tell this guy take it, try to draw a walk. You can tell this guy you can tell the guy on first base, like, try to steal second. You can do that. We don't do that in this save, but you manage a team on an at-bat to at-bat basis, and you try to win the games and eventually the World Series, right? Also the neat thing is, because they have the history of every player who's come through and played baseball going all the way back to 1871, they come into the save historically when they're due. Babe Ruth will appear in 1910. Shoeless Joe Jackson is going to appear in 1903. Albert Pujols is going to appear in 1995 or whatever it is, right? Like, all those players will come in whenever they historically played. I chose it so that their development path is random. So Babe Ruth might not turn out to be the Bronx Bomber. He just could be another player. He could be a complete dud. He could be a Hall of Famer. But it is a really neat game in that sense. So all of the players are real. All of the names of the stadiums are real. When you get a little bit further past like 1871 and all that stuff, those stadiums will start to look like the actual stadium. Like Veterans Stadium is where the Phillies played until 2005. So Veterans, like in the 1999 Phillies, when they're playing at home, Veterans Stadium looks like Veterans Stadium. And then when you move into the 2005 season, it looks like Citizens Bank Park, and that's where they played ever since. So, but they have all the historical stadium names, some of the looks, team names, player names, all of that stuff. Even the ticket prices adjust for inflation. For example, my current save, I'm managing this save. I'm managing Rockford. The ticket price for a Rockford Forest City game is 10 cents. 10 cents. That's the average ticket price. And that will adjust as well over time. The economy adjusts as well over time. So it's as accurate as you can get. It's incredible what you can do. It's like FM on steroids. It actually just fell into my download queue. I'll do a stream when I open it for the first time. We'll try to figure out the square cricket lark together. If you have baseball questions, hit me with them, because I'm free to answer them. Right. It's definitely off cooldown, so let me give Steven his actual proper shout out now, shall I? Right, go follow Steven. He's a Middlesbrough fan who has a great Middlesbrough save going. Here he is playing FM24. We've all been there. We've all been there. I've been season 5 Champions League semifinal. That was me. I was in the same boat. I know nothing about baseball. Right. But yeah, go follow Steve. He's a really cool guy. He also has a pretty wicked kit collection, by the way. So if you want to see some cool kits, definitely check him out. I sort of know baseball, but I am not a pleb. Thank you very much for the follow. I sort of know baseball in that I enjoy watching it, as we discussed before, I think, but the nerdy bits are the bits I don't know. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't know a lot of the new stats people use, like BABIP and WARV and all that. That is like Greek to me. But like batting average, on base percentage, like all of that stuff makes sense. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, on base percentage, how often do you get on base? Batting average, how often do you get a hit? Like, that seems very simple to me. It's when you get into the advanced stuff that I really struggle. Right, we are in the middle of the top of the fourth. It is 7-2 Rockford. Joe Start is at the plate. Runners on first and third, nobody out here. Here's the first, I'm sorry, one out. Here's the pitch to Joe Start. And that is popped up in the infield. Catcher's over to make the play just in foul territory. He does, and that is going to be the second out of the inning. So P2 on the putout. Those are the three I understand. I tried reading the original explanation of Moneyball, and it may as well have been in Greek. Yeah. So thank you for the hydrate, Beav. I appreciate you, bro. Let me write you down here. Welcome in, Viva. Good morning to you. Oh my God. My pen. I think I'm finally losing my pen. In terms of ink. Bruh. What's up, bruh? Right. There are some things I can explain, like earned run average. What's an earned run versus what's not an earned run. No, it's built into the game. That's the great thing, Liam. That's why I mean it's like FM on steroids. Going back to 1870, that's built in the game. You can do, anybody who owns the game can do that. That's the really cool thing. There's also things like Perfect Team, which is like FIFA Ultimate Team. But unlike FIFA Ultimate Team, it's not going to ask for your freaking money. So, you know. You could, and if you watch Out of the Park baseball streamers, you get free packs. You get drops that are free packs you can unpack in the game. Is there a way to make an FM database that does this? But I do not have the time to build it. The Mad Scientist does. I should have. You know what? I think I closed this tab when I moved over from Firefox to Vivaldi. But the Mad Scientist does. The Mad Scientist FM. He has a website. Oh, what do you know? I found his website. I would love playing Retro Database. Check out the Mad Scientist. He builds retro databases in his free time. He has built them for FM over the last 5 to 6 years, and with the help of Mr. Teeny, Mr. Teeny has made the regen mod, or it has made regen mods for FM. So when you grab a Mad Scientist database and you grab the regen mod that pairs with it from Mr. Teeny, you can have a retro database that like starts in 2000, and then all the players in 2001 will come into the league, and all the players in 2002 will come in the league. But he's never gone back to 1889. Yeah, but because because Mad Scientist, if you watch this YouTube video, you'll see why. But the Mad Scientist goes back into Championship Manager and all of those, and he makes the database based on what the attributes were assigned to the player. So, like, when he made his 02, 03 database, I think it was, he launched Champ Manager 02, and he looked at, okay, what was this player's agility? What was his pace? What was his acceleration? What was his, do you know what I mean? And that's how he builds the player in the retro database, which is really cool. So, obviously, we didn't even have video games back in 1889, but it would be really cool to have something like that baked in, that's for sure. Right. Let's get a crack on. George Bird, the center fielder, will settle in. Runners on first and third. 2 outs here. Top fourth. Rockford leading 7-2. Here's the first pitch. That is a called strike. It's 0-1. Oh yeah, I'm aware, but it would be amazing. And I feel like if SI was a little bit bigger of a team, yeah, I know, free as well. If SI was a little bit bigger of a team, they could devote 1 to 2 people who maybe could start building that database. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded over to second. The throw. He's going to step on second himself, and that is going to retire the side. 3 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Rockford have opened up a 7-2 lead. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We will be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom 4th here in Troy. We're in Troy, New York at the Haymakers ground. It was a 2:05 first pitch start. Game time currently 1 hour 12 minute. Rockford have a 7-2 lead. Jim Foreman is settling in for the at-bat. He singled on his last at-bat. Here's the first pitch to him from Dick McBride, and that's a called strike. It's 0-1. It's the same manager, Lamely. It's an OC. Girlfriend made the OC. She draws art of it all the time. She draws art in her free time. I basically use the character in anything that has a custom created character, whatever it is. FM, Out of the Park, Soul Calibur, wrestling games, fighting, like it doesn't matter. Like that's the character I make. When I just think, yeah, it is. We're commentating through the 1871. Not only that, but if you see me looking down, I have a scorebook. So every game that we have commentated so far in this 1871 season, it's been scored. It's been kept score. Right, Jim Foreman 2 up. He singled his last at bat. He's 0-1 pitch. Here it is. It's lined right at the second. Great jumping catch from the shortstop. He makes the play. And that's the first out of the inning. George Wright leaping to grab that ball out of the air. And there's one away here in the 4th. That's going to bring up Patty Quinn. He reached via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Quinn. And he's grounded that foul down the first base side. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't do commission work. No. So she doesn't even share her art. She's not on social media. So she doesn't do any social media. The only social media she does is she watches TikTok. She doesn't have Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Insta. She has none of it. She really does not like social media. So that's a shame. I'm working on an idea I was going to ask. Yeah. So, and she's asked me not to share her work. She's very uncomfortable sharing her work. She just shows me it because obvious reasons. But yeah, no, she's pretty good at art. She's come a long way in the last like 4 years. She's picked it up. But yeah, here's the 0-1, and that's high, ball one. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball two. It's 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. That's below the knees, 3-1. It's a hitter's count to Patty Quinn. Here's the pitch. He's grounded that to the backstop. It'll be a full count. It's 3-2. 3-2 pitch on the way. And that's lined into left field. Left fielder coming in for it, and he will make the grab. And that's the second out of the inning. F7 is the putout and the scoring decision as he's retired. I'll bring up Frank Norton. For those that are new to baseball, I'm going to explain it again since we've had two rates, but for those that are new to baseball, when you score a game of baseball, every position has a number. The pitcher is 1, the catcher is 2, the first baseman is 3, the second baseman is 4, the third baseman is 5, the shortstop is 6, the left fielder is 7, the center fielder is 8, and the right fielder is 9. So what happens is if you write a scoring decision, if you see a scoring decision and it says F9, it means it was a fly ball that the right fielder caught. If you see a thing that just says like 4-3, it means it was a ground ball that the second baseman picked up and he threw it over to first, and the first baseman caught it at first in time for the out. If you see it like P2, it means it was popped up and the catcher grabbed the pop-up out of the air. Like it was popped up, catcher caught it, and that's the out. And that's how it's scored. That's how baseball is essentially scored. There are a few other things like RBI that we won't get into, but like if it's a double play, you write DP. So like if it's an error, you write E. You know, it's very simple, believe it or not. So here's Frank Norton, the right fielder. He's going to settle in. He grounded out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Norton. He's popped that up right back at the pitcher. And he will glove it, and that will retire the side. Who's on first? What's on second? And I don't know who's on third, Layman. Right, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base. For the second straight inning, Troy go 3 up and 3 down. We go top fifth. It's 7-2 Rockford. New inning means it's time for a new shout out, new sponsor. Normal Bloke from Sheffield is a fantastically kind individual who streams Football Manager 2026. Really good, cool dude. Average Sheffield Wednesday fan. Or avid, not average. Jesus, sorry, Jeff. Avid Sheffield Wednesday fan. Really awesome Football Manager streamer. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Normal Bloke from Sheffield is our sponsor for tonight's fifth inning. (7-2). Rockford leading here in Troy. And it's going to be George Wright who settles into the batter's box. He grounded into a double play his last at-bat. He's 1 for 2 so far today. Joe Simmons still on the mound. He has replaced starting pitcher Harry Wright, who only lasted 3 innings. And we've got OOTP. Nice. Here's the first pitch to Wright, and he is going to take that for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's way off the plate away. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. And that is lined into the seats. It'll be 1-2. You know what the crazy thing is, lamely? this kind of commentary, even if it was radio comment, it wouldn't have been available in 1871. It was literally just box scores in the paper. You literally just had either eyewitness accounts or box scores in the newspaper. That was the only way you knew about the game. So, the first baseball game wasn't broadcasted, or the first broadcasted baseball game wasn't until it was done on the radio, and it wasn't until the year 1920 that they started broadcasting baseball on the radio. Right, it's the 1-2 pitch here to George Wright. He has shot that back into center field, and it's over the center fielder's head. It's going to be a base hit. It could be more. It's going to be a leadoff triple. Sliding into third base is George Wright, and he's got a leadoff triple here for Rockford, and they're in position to provide even more pain here to the Troy Haymakers. Troy currently sitting at 4 wins, 10 losses. Rockford 5 wins, 9 losses after a 2-6 start. So trying to turn their season around, Rockford. They'll be 4-3 since they went 2-6. That's not bad. They're still in it if they win this game. Troy very much looking like they're out of it. Should they lose this game. Dick McBride settles in the pitcher. He is 1 for 2. He's 2 for 2 so far today with a single and a double. Here's the first pitch to McBride. That's a called strike, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded foul, and it'll be 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Lined right at the shortstop, who makes the grab, and that's the first out of the inning. Cap Anson will settle in. He is 1 for 3 with an RBI so far today. Here's the first pitch to Anson. Now hang on. Did he draw a base on balls? That was it last time? You drew a base on. Anson they have as 1 and 2. Anson did not do a base on ball. So what did he do? Did he not get credit? Because he did fly out. It was an RBI. They recorded that as a sack, didn't they? Yeah, sack fly, Cap Anson. Okay. Let me write sack next to his name. Won that second inning. Right, so he's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Here is the first pitch to Anson. And he has lined that into the gap in right. And it's going to be a base hit. George Wright will score from third. Anson's got himself his second hit of the afternoon and his second RBI of the afternoon. And he's aboard with a single. George Hall will settle in. He's 1 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Hall, and he swung on and missed. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is lined into right field. It's another base hit. Oh, and it's an error. The right fielder fumbles the ball. And it's going to go down. It's going to be recorded as a single, but Hall gets to second base. Anson is held at third. And the right fielder, Frank Norton, will get credited with a fielding error. And that'll be second and third, 1 out here. Ross Barnes is going to settle in. He's 0 for 1 with 2 walks so far today. Here's the first pitch to Barnes. That's inside ball 1. The throw home is not in time. It's a wild pitch. Anson scores on the wild pitch. Hall goes to third, and it's 9-2 Rockford. Here's the 1-0 pitch now to Barnes, and that's low for a ball, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's inside, ball 3. 3-0. Inside check swing. They go to first base. The umpire says he didn't swing, and it will be ball 4. And Ross Barnes has drawn his 3rd walk of the afternoon, and now it's runners on first and third. There's still only 1 out. And that's going to bring up right fielder Lip Pike. He is 2 for 3 so far today with an RBI and 2 singles. And here is the pitch to Lip Pike. He's going to take that for a called strike, and it is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And grounded to the backstop. 0-2 now the count. Here's the 0-2 pitch. He's grounded that to the backstop. We'll do it all over again. Here's the 0-2 pitch again. Grounded over to second. They go to second for the first out, and it'll be a fielder's choice. Hall will score in the play. And it's a RBI FC. So Lip Pike FC 4-6 RBI is the scoring decision for Pike. Coming in to score on the play is George Hall. They throw out Ross Barnes at second base. And Rockford has tallied another one. It's 10-2. Doug Allison will settle in. He is 2 for 3 with 2 RBI so far today. Runner on first, 2 outs. Okay, we're in. I'm taking on the 1991 Yankees because I'm a sadist. Oh, my God. Here's the first pitch, and that's lined right at the shortstop, and that is gloved for the final out of the inning. They're finally retired. 3 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go bottom 5th here in Troy. Rockford have a commanding 10-2 lead. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom 5th. Bill Lennon, the catcher, will settle in. He had a 2 RBI double in his first at-bat. Dick McBride, only 48 pitches his first 4 innings. Here's the first one to Bill Lennon. And that's inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's grounded foul down the third base side. It'll be 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Way off the plate away, and it's 2-1. Love that this is basically the perfect hybrid of UI between FM 24 and 26. Nice. You can add a lot, too. Like, I could bring up the... There is one other game, the out-of-town scoreboard right now. Cleveland 6-4 leading the New York Mutuals in the top of the 6th inning. I can bring up, like, the weather. You can bring up, like, the strike zone and where the pitches were. So, like, the first one was a ball. The second one here was fouled off. The third one was a ball. All sorts of stuff that you can bring up. Like, here's the full lineup with their season stats. So, I don't put a lot of stuff on here that a lot of other guys do, just because I try to keep the UI as clean as, like, I just try to keep it, like, this is interesting. Like, this is his center fielder rating, his arm rating, his defensive rating. You know, this is he's pitched 4 innings. This is contact and power. Current pitcher, current batter, current scores up here. And it has, like, the time and the ground name, but I try to keep it limited to just what you see. Like, all the players that are currently on the field, who's in the batter's box, who's pitching, and that's it. Like, that's all I want. I've got as far as the main page so far. It's lovely. Now I just need to learn how to sign players. Well, you're going to have to learn all the baseball rules. I mean, there's no real rules in signing players. There's no signing player. You basically trade. You have to trade for players. So, it's an American league. So, if you're playing a current season, if you're playing current year, you have to trade for players. And you can trade draft picks for them or prospects from your minor league for a professional player. But you can't offer money for them. That's not how current MLB does. Back in the 1871 days, you either traded straight player for player, or you only acquired new player at the year-end draft. So they do an amateur draft at the end of the year, all the way up until MLB gets created in 1901. And then when the MLB comes around, you start getting things like the minor league systems and all that stuff that allows you to call up players, demote players, all that stuff. But prior to that in 1871, it was only a small pool of players that played the game. So they come in to the it's AAA, AA, Single A, and Single A short season. So AAA is, you got the majors as MLB, then AAA is the highest minor league team, and they play about the same number of games, 162-ish games. Then you have AA, who play very close to that. I think they play like 140, maybe 150. And then you have Single A, which do the same. They play about 120 games. And then you have something called Single A short season, which is like a 40 to 60 game season. They don't even play that long, and that's it. Those are your 4 minor league systems. So AAA is the top minor league team, and then AA, Single A short season. And then that's it. So everything above that is AAA. But you have to understand what, like, two-way contracts are. Which two-way contracts is a contract that you sign to a player that allows you to assign him to a AAA team. So if I have a two-way contract on a player and he's not performing, I can send him to the minors. But if I don't sign a two-way contract with a player, then if I send him to the minors, he has to clear waivers. So if you do not have a two-way contract on a player and you send him to AAA, he goes on waivers for 7 days. Any other team in the MLB can then claim that player off waivers. And if they do, you lose that player to the team that claims him. If he clears waivers, nobody claims him after 7 days, then he goes down to AAA. But if he gets claimed, you lose the player, period. So you have to kind of know there's all sorts of contract shit like that. This is what happens when you have a players association that tries to protect the rights of the players. You know, it makes it harder for you to really offload them and move them around and things like that. There's a whole bunch of other oddities with baseball that I don't know. Like the Rule 5 draft, I couldn't explain that. I have no idea what the Rule 5 draft is. Another OOTP streamer who knows a lot more about baseball will probably know what the Rule 5 draft is. 31 is a little old in baseball. Yeah, once you're like 34, 35, it's about the same thing as FM. Like once you're like 31-year-olds really perform well, they're considered at the end of their prime, and then once you get to like 34, 35, you're pretty much on your way out of the sport. And by 37, 38, you're basically done. The only exception might be pitchers, because pitchers, it's all about location, right? If you can spot your pitches, it doesn't matter how old you are. Most pitchers, most really elite pitchers pitch into their early 40s. Here's the 2-1 pitch, by the way. That is swung on and missed. That is 2-2 now. So here's the 2-2. And that is lined right at the second baseman, and that is caught for the out. Bill Lennon is retired on an L4. So you're trying to get rid of Andy Hawkins. 31 years old, 2 stars. He's basically ancient history. Yeah, he's in his career 2 seasons maybe at best. At best 2 seasons. So that'll bring up Joe Simmons, the pitcher. Simmons is oh, I'm sorry. This is actually his first at bat. I got to write him in. Bill Simmons. He's a pitcher. Subbed. He came in the 4th. And it was Harry Wright that was subbed out in the 9th. Right. Here's the first pitch to Simmons. And that's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded to the backstop. It'll be 0-2 to Simmons. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounded. That is fair, but it's right at the first baseman, who takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire Simmons. That'll bring up the top of the order, Jimmy Hallinan, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Nobody on, 2 out here. Here's the first pitch to Dick McBride, and he has popped that up right at the third baseman, and he will make the play, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. 10 straight batters retired for Dick McBride. Rockford lead by a score of 10-2. We go top 6 now. New inning, new sponsor. Patwitz is a fantastic streamer from the Philippines. He's the Philippines' greatest streamer, F1 manager, FM, and some Apex Legends. He does a little bit of all 3. He played F1 manager, I believe it was earlier today. It might have been yesterday, but I believe it was something like within the last 24 hours, that's for sure. Give him a follow if you haven't already. The ever so fantastic Patwitz is our sponsor for this 6th inning here tonight. Right. Joe Start going to lead things off for Rockford. Start is 1 for 3 with an RBI. Simmons still on the mound for Troy. Here's the first pitch that's taken off the plate away. It's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Joe Start. Grounded into the gap in left. And Start's got a leadoff single here. And Rockford have got the leadoff man aboard yet again. Rockford have had the leadoff runner aboard in the last 3 innings now. And they lead already but they lead by 8. So here is George Bird settling in. He is 1 for 3 with a single and a strikeout. That was easy. Nice. Here's the first pitch to Bird. He swung on and missed. That's 0-1. 0-1 pitch to Bird. Here we go. Called. Strike 2. It's 0-2 now to George Bird. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's inside, ball 1, and it gets away from the catcher. It's considered a wild pitch. And Joe Start will take second base for free off the back of that. Here's the 1-2. And that's going to get away from the catcher. It's a passed ball this time. And Joe Start takes third base for free. The difference between a wild pitch and a passed ball is that a pitch that is thrown that is considered so erratic, the catcher has no chance of stopping it or catching it, is considered a wild pitch. If a pitch is thrown and it is deemed the catcher should have stopped that ball or caught that ball, it's considered a passed ball. 24-year-old Moises Alou, he's a good player. Moises Alou is a really good player. Here's the 2-2 to George Bird.
Strike 3.
Swung on and missed, and for the second time tonight, George Bird has struck out swinging. That's going to bring up George Wright. He is 2 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Wright. He's taking that inside. Oh, he's taking that for a called strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away, it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that is popped up shallow right. Right fielder coming in. He makes the play. And that will retire George Wright. F9 on the putout. It's shallow, so it doesn't bring Joe Start in. He's held at third, and that'll bring up pitcher Dick McBride. McBride is 2 for 3 so far today. Here's the pitch to McBride, and he has popped that up in the deep infield. Second baseman's over there. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit, and they leave 1 aboard. We go bottom 6th here in Troy. Rockford leading by a score of 10-2. Due up first for the Troy Haymakers will be second baseman Bill Craver, who's 0 for 2 so far today. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom 6th here in Rockford. I'm sorry, in Troy. If you guys have missed any of our Out of the Park baseball saves so far, it's on YouTube. I do have about 5 games, including tonight's game, that I have to upload still, so I'm a little bit behind on it. But the entire series is there in one playlist. Just look for the Out of the Park Baseball 1871 playlist. And every game that we've covered so far, that's there in that playlist for you. So if you want, you can get caught up on all the action. We also have other series on there. My CLGFC series, which is parked currently. That series is parked for the longest save. That's on there. That's about 300 episodes. Our action time and in playthroughs on there as well. All 32 parts. I actually have 2 action time and I think part 32 and part 33 I actually have to upload. So 31 parts are on there so far. And some of our all of our Unreal Tournament commentary is on there as well. So definitely check it out if you've missed anything. Right. Dick McBride's on the mound. Bill Craver is settling into the batter's box in this one. Bottom 6th, and Troy need a lifeline. They only have 2 hits in the game. Here's the first pitch to Bill Craver. He's grounded that to the backstop. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2, 0-2 is the count. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside, ball 1. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Oh, and he's hit him. He's hit him. And Bill Craver will take first base. He was hit by the pitch. HBP for the scoring decision. Hit by pitch. And for the first time since the 2nd inning, and the only time since the 2nd inning, Troy have got the leadoff man aboard. They did score in that inning. They scored 2 in that inning. Let's see if they can do that here. Ezra Sutton settling in. He is 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Sutton. That's a called strike. The throw's over to second. Not in time. And Bill Craver's got his 2nd stolen base of the afternoon. Here's the 0-1. And that is shot in the left, and that lands fair. It's a fair ball, says the third base umpire. Sliding into second is Ezra Sutton, and he's got himself an RBI double, and they do score with the leadoff runner. It's an RBI double for Ezra Sutton. Craver scores, and it's 10-3. That'll bring up Fred Tracy. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Tracy. That's inside, ball 1. Tracy to take the 1-0 pitch. Grounded over to first. He'll take it to the bag himself. That'll retire Tracy. Sutton will get to third. It's a U3 for unassisted 3. Unassisted ground out. And that'll bring up Jim Foran. He's 1 for 2 so far today. Runner is 90 feet away, and there's 1 out. How do I make the Astros give me Kurt Schilling and Jeff Bagwell? They're being mean. I offered them 10 players, including Don Madling and Steve Sachs, at $4.5 million. I don't think the 91 Astros, who are a very competitive team, are going to give you Schilling and Bagwell. They're like the 2 cornerstones of that team. And sometimes teams are not going to give you their players. They're trying to build around the championship team around them. Like, good luck getting Mariano Rivera off the Yankees. I don't think he's quite in your save yet in 1991. But like, when Mariano Rivera goes to the Yankees, good luck getting him off the Yankees. Do you know what I mean? Because they know how good of a player he is, and they're not going to move him. So, the AI and Out of the Park is a little bit better than FM in that sense. So. Here's the first pitch to Foran. He's grounded over to short. On to first, and that is going to retire Jim Foran, 6-3 on the putout. Oh, that's not a problem. I am the Yankees. But you know what I mean. You get my point. Like, you could offer the world and all of its oysters. The St. Louis Cardinals are not going to give you Albert Pujols. That's just not going to happen. You know, prime Albert Pujols, they're not going to give it up to you. That's just and the AI is going to lock that down. Right, here's Patty Quinn. He's 0 for 2. Yeah, my parents to play FM rules and just sign the guys with 5-star potential. There you go. Here's the first pitch to Quinn. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's off the plate away. It's 1-1. And you could even go in. You don't have, like, you can turn the editor on. Like, the editor's on all the time, by the way. So, and if you go in there and just dive in and look at how it's running behind the scenes, it's insane. Like, you don't have to edit anything. I'm just saying you could go into the editor and look at, like, the league rules and the players. And, you know, like, you can go into the player editor and look at what makes them tick. You can go into the league editor and look at what makes it tick and all the rules it has. And it is insane. The wonderful thing about the 1871 season, by the way, and it is going to happen in your 91 save, is that in your if you're starting in 1991, the Arizona Diamondbacks are not in the league yet. But when you get to, when did they come in the league? 97 or 99? The Diamondbacks are going to come into the league, and the league's going to expand. Like right now, if you're Houston in 1991, you're in the National League. You're a National League team. In 2010 or 2011, whatever it is, you're going to go over to the American League. Like, you're in a 6-team division right now with the Reds, the Pirates, the Cubs, the Brewers. It's you, the Reds, Pirates, Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals, and Astros. That's the National League Central, the NL Central division. It's 6 teams, but the AL West only has, like, the Mariners and the, you know. Whoever was in the AL West back in the, although I'm thinking of 2005, 2006, but still, you know, all those moves that happen throughout baseball, they'll happen in real time. Like this save here, we're gonna get the Brooklyn Dodgers, and then in 1950, they're gonna move over to Los Angeles. So this save currently has the Boston Red Stockings. At some point, they're going to become the Atlanta Braves. Right. Where was I? Right. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Patty Quinn. And that's lined into left field. This time it lands foul. It'll be 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Off the plate away, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. That is shot into right, and that lands foul. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Grounded over to third. It's a bad error. Ezra Sutton will score on the error. It is going to be Patty Quinn on an E5. And it's Cap Anson who gets credited with his second error of the afternoon. He's aboard. Sutton scores. And it is 10-4 now. Frank Norton settles in right fielder. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. And that's inside, ball 1. There's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Lined into center. But right at the center fielder and playable, who makes the catch. And the side is retired. 2 runs on 1 hit, and they leave the bases. They leave 1 on. We go to the top 7th here in Troy. 10-4, Rockford the score. We got the 7th inning stretch coming up, so we're going to take our ad break now, if possible. Can I even take it now? Yes, I can. We're going to take a 90-second timeout now because we have the 7th inning stretch coming up. And I actually don't think those 45 minutes is going to carry me through the top 7th, bottom 7th, and top 8th. So we're going to take the ad break now. We'll be back in 90 seconds with more. Don't go anywhere. 7th inning coming up. Welcome back. Top 7th. New inning means it's time for a brand new sponsor and a brand new shout out. Mossman Games is an absolute gem of a human being. He's an awesome guy. He's a great football manager streamer, very talkative on his stream, always holds a great conversation. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Mossman Games, FM streamer, one of the best, and an absolutely awesome individual. Give him a follow if you're not already. Man's also into some D&D that he doesn't play on stream. He does that with a private group, but he loves to talk about it quite a bit. So if you like Dungeons and Dragons as well, go give him a follow. Go give him some conversation as well. He's an awesome dude. Mossman Games is the sponsor for tonight's 7th inning. We got the 7th inning stretch a half inning away. We got a 6-run lead here for the Rockford Forest Citys, trying to pull to 6-9 on the season. Cap Anson will settle in. He is currently 2 for 3 today. Joe Simmons is still on the mound for Rockford, although looking very tired. Here's the first pitch from Simmons. And that is a check swing, and they go to first base, and the first base umpire says he swung. So that'll be strike one. Here's the 0-1. Inside, ball one. Here's the 1-1. That's off the plate away, 2-1. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base side. It'll be 2-2. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That's high. 3-2 now. Full count. Payoff pitch incoming to Cap Anson. And that is inside, ball 4. And Anson has drawn a leadoff walk here in the 7th. That is going to bring up George Hall. Currently 2 for 4 so far today. Simmons still on the mound. Here's the pitch to Hall, and he is Linus in the left, but playable. Left fielder coming in for it. He will make the grab, and that is the first out of the inning. Right. Ross Barnes settles in. Barnes is 0 for 1, but he's drawn 3 walks today. Here's the first pitch to Barnes. That is a called strike. It's on 1. Here's the 0-1. Inside. Ball 1. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Barnes. That's inside, ball 2. 2-1 to count. Here's the pitch. Off the plate away, 3-1. It's a hitter's count to Ross Barnes. Runner first, 1 out. Here's the pitch. That is a called strike, and it's 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Grounded over to second base. On to first, that's in time for the second out of the inning. Going to second will be Anson on the play. So he gets into scoring position, but there's 2 outs now. Lip Pike will settle in. Pike is 2 for 4 so far today. He's got a pair of RBIs as well. Here's the first pitch to Pike. And that is going to get away from the catcher. That is a wild pitch. And going to third is Anson. He's now 90 feet away. Here's the 1-0. Check swing. They go to third base. And he went around, they said. So it's a strike for Lip Pike. It's 1-1. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. It's 1-2. 1-2 to pitch. Here is
Strike 3.
Swung on and missed. And Lip Pike is retired. He struck out swinging. That'll bring an end to the inning. No runs, no hits. They leave 1 aboard. We go bottom 7th here in Troy. It is 10-4 for Rockford. And as a time-honored tradition, we are going to step away. But we are going to play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Enjoy this rendition of it. The courtesy of Harrison Scheckler. We'll be back with more in just a few minutes. Harrison Scheckler there would take me out to the ball game. 7th inning stretch complete here in Troy. It's a 6-run game right now, and Troy trying to get back into this. They need another really 2 or 3 runs here in the 7th to really feel like they have a shot at overturning this deficit. They've done well to get 2 on the board last inning. They got more required. They're running out of time. They got 3 innings left to do so. It'll be Bill Lennon, the catcher, who's due up first. He is 1 for 2 with a pair of RBIs on a double in the 2nd. Dick McBride, 75 pitches through his first 6 innings. That's pretty good. Here's the first pitch in the 7th to Bill Lennon, and he is going to take a called strike. It's 0-1. 0-1 to count. Here's the pitch. That's off the plate away. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is swung on. That's fouled just beyond the catcher. And so it'll be 1-2 now, the count. Here's the pitch. That's inside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Grounded over to first, and taking it to the bag himself is Joe Start, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Unassisted 3 is the scoring decision, U3. And he's retired. Joe Simmons will settle in, the pitcher. Simmons grounded out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Simmons. And that's a called strike on the inside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's a called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-2 now to Joe Simmons. I'm sorry, Bill Simmons. No, Joe Simmons. Why did I write Bill Simmons? I wrote Joe Simmons in the pitcher spot, but then I wrote Bill Simmons in the batter spot. Bill Simmons, I think, is a basketball player, and a very good one back in the day. Right. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Joe Simmons. Grounded over to first. And the throw 1 to first. The pitcher gets back. That's Dick McBride. He gets over to cover, and it's a 3-1 putout. And Simmons is retired. And we go back to the top of the order. Jimmy Hallinan will come up to bat. He is 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Hallinan. Swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Let me turn off the audio off this scene now. I totally forgot to do that. Right. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away. And it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Grounded over to second. Good diving stop, but a bad throw. And Hallinan's aboard on an E4. That is second baseman Ross Barnes, who will be credited with the error. It's his first of the game, the 4th for Rockford. And Hallinan is the only base runner so far this inning. Bill Craver will step in. He was hit by the pitch his last at bat. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. The throw over to second is in time. They got him. He was caught stealing, Jimmy Hallinan, and that will retire the side. No runs or no hits. Nobody left on base. We go top 8th. It's a 10-4 ball game for Rockford. New inning means it's time for a brand new sponsor and a brand new shout out. Kickert is a bilingual Dutch streamer who plays Football Manager. He's got an awesome network save going with the Dutch FM, the Timo, Archenweiden, and Rowan on one. Go give him a follow if you haven't already. He's a fantastic guy, and he's super kind. Kinkert is our sponsor for this 8th inning here tonight. There is a pitching change for Rockford. Joe Simmons is done on the mound. He pitches 4 innings. And it'll be Clipper Flynn. Who settles into the pitching, settles on the pitching mound. Honestly, if they were going to replace him at the start of the inning, it's an odd decision to let him bat in the last half inning as well. Like, usually you bring in a pinch hitter for him, for Joe Simmons, and let the pinch hitter have a go because he's going to be a better hitter, traditionally at least. And then you just bring in the new pitcher at the top of the inning. That's not what they did, but it is a pitching change. Clipper Flynn on the mound. Doug Allison will settle into the batter's box. He is currently 2 for 4 so far today. Here's the first pitch from Clipper Flynn. That's grounded over to first. He'll be taken to the bag himself. That's Jimmy Foran on the putout, and that is 1 pitch, 1 out. Doug Allison retired. Joe Start will settle into the batter's box now. He is 2 for 4 so far today with an RBI. Okay, I made a controversial choice already. Jorge Posada starting on second base ahead of Steve Sachs in 1991. I approve of it. Langley. By the way, the new Out of the Park should be out around March. I'm looking forward to that. That's the only game I'm looking forward to right now in 2026. Is Out of the Park 27 coming out in March. I mean, if FM 27 comes out in like September, November, great. But, you know, obviously that's not even in the news cycle yet. Because they're still patching 26. Right, here's the first pitch from Clipper Flynn to Joe Start. And he has lined that into right. That is going to land foul. Here's the 0-1. Grounded back to the mound. Second baseman's coming in. The throw over to first is not in time. It's an infield single. Start hustled down the line. The pitcher didn't get to the ball. He trusted Holland, who called for it. And he couldn't get the throw over to first. And Start has got himself his third hit of the afternoon. It's a single, and he's aboard. 1 out here. That's going to bring up George Bird, the center fielder. He is 1 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Here's the first pitch from Flynn. That's grounded over to short. The throw is on to first. That's in plenty of time for the second out of the inning. 6-3 on the putout. Runner on second. That's going to move Start to second. So he's in scoring position, but now there's 2 outs. George Wright will settle in. He is 2 for 4 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Wright. And that's taken for a called strike. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Popped up in the infield. First baseman coming in for it. He's going to make the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 1 aboard. We go to the bottom 8th here in Troy. Rockford leading by a score of 10-4. I mean, we all know how good Jorge Posada turned out to be, right, Langley? So, I mean, I would approve of that starting Posada over Steve Sachs. Due up first for the Troy Haymakers in the 8th inning will be second baseman Bill Craver, who is 0 for 2. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Top 8th here in Troy. It's 4:21 p.m. The first pitch was 2:05, so game time right now 2 hours 16. And I'm sorry, bottom 8th. Bottom 8th here. It'll be Bill Craver stepping in. Dick McBride still on the mound here for Troy. I'm sorry, for Rockford. Craver is 0 for 2. He was hit by the pitch last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him from Dick McBride. And that's a called strike. It's on 1. Here's the big question, Langley. How did you set your save up? Did you allow, is it as historically accurate as possible? Like the players who were great are going to be great? Or did you give them random development paths? Or did you give them, if you're signing Jorge Posada, you didn't choose all fictional players, but here's the 0-1. That's grounded foul. It's 0-2 now. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Bill Craver. And that's a ground ball over to third. The throw over to first is a bad one. And Cap Anson has got his third error of the afternoon. Bill Craver's aboard on an E5. And again, for just the third time this game, Troy have the leadoff runner aboard. They have scored both times they previously have. I think I've given them random development paths. Posada was in my AAA, so I just promoted him. Gotcha. That'll bring up third baseman Ezra Sutton. Sutton currently is 1 for 3 today with an RBI. First pitch to Sutton. That's inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Check swing, but it's a called strike anyway, and it's 1-1. Runner on first, nobody out here. 1-1 to pitch. Grounded over to second. They go for the lead runner. They will get him. It's a fielder's choice. Ezra Sutton. So FC 4-6. Sutton goes to first. Craver is thrown out at second. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Oh my God, there we go. Fred Tracy will step into the batter's box 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch from Dick McBride to Fred Tracy. That is swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. The throw over to first, and the runner is back in time. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Throw over to first, and the runner is back safely. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded foul to the backstop. It'll be 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounded over to first. The throw onto second's in time. It's another fielder's choice force. This time 3-6. Actually, it's 3-6. Sutton is the runner thrown out at second. And so it'll be 2 out, 1 aboard here for Troy. Jim Foran is the batter. He is 1 for 3 today. Here's the first pitch. And he is shot that into left field, but shallow and playable. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits. 1 man left on base. We go to the top 9th here in Troy. Rockford have a 10-4 lead. Clipper Flynn is going to retake the mound here in the 9th inning. Dick McBride is the opening batter. There's the first pitch to Dick McBride, who's 2 for 4 today. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Inside, ball 1. Here is the 1-1 pitch. That's high and outside, ball 2. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That's shot into the gap in right. And Dick McBride has got a base hit. His third of the afternoon. And Rockford have got the leadoff man aboard. Okay, first game, I've been given too many options. It's asked me about strategy. There isn't a win button, so I just played sabermetric. That could be fine, sure. Yeah, sabermetric's fine. Sabermetric is like a way of analyzing stats and using it to choose the right players. When you get into the game, these buttons up here are not going to just say continue. It's going to say like swing for hit, sacrifice bunt, swing for contact, swing for power. Like, you know, and then when players get on base, it'll say something like steal second, steal third, steal home, hit and run, things like that. And you'll have all these options up here. You can also shift your infield, like up here where it says infield normal. I don't want too many choices. Okay, yeah, if you sit like you can shift your infield and outfield. Like you can have them deep, shallow, lean left, lean right, hold the first base runner if you want. Right. We go back to the top of the order. Cap Anson here. 2 for 4 so far today. Pair of RBIs. I'm sorry, 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Here's the first pitch to Anson. And he's going to take that for a called strike. It's 0-1. That's what I do. I set all my choices to AI. That's why the button I have up here is literally just for continue. That's it. The 1 is the key. Like I'm not clicking it. I'm literally just pressing the 1 key and it's continuing. So here's the 0-1. That's taken inside. Ball 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's lined into left field and drifts foul. I'm facing the Tigers. I just asked Google if the 1991 Tigers were good, and it basically said, duh. I was 3 years old, so I don't know if the 1991 Tigers were good. 1991 MLB season. American League. The Detroit Tigers finished 84-78 in the American League East. That was third best behind. They were level on a record with the Boston Red Sox. The Toronto Blue Jays were the best team in the division, and they went to the American League Championship Series against the Minnesota Twins. Oh, Minnesota won that year. That was the last year Minnesota. That was the last time Minnesota won the title. I didn't know that. How about that? Here's the 1-2. That is a ball, and it goes to the backstop. It's a wild pitch, and Dick McBride takes second for free. Whereas the Yankees I'm playing as went 71 and 91. So, yeah, but here's the thing. The next few years, right? Over the next few years, the Yankees have the David Cone perfect game. They have the, what was the one after him? The David Wells perfect game. And by 1995, they're back in the driver's seat in the American League East. 92, 93, obviously, the Blue Jays dominate. 91, they win the division. They lose to the Twins. 92, the Blue Jays win the division. They win the World Series, I'm pretty sure, that year. 93, they win the division. They win the World Series on the walk-off, unfortunately, against the fucking Phillies. I cried my eyes out when that happened. I remember that was my first sports memory. My first real sports memory was the Phillies losing the 93 World Series on the walk-off. Actually, my first few sports memories were awful because the very next sports memory, I think I remember the 93 Phillies losing the walk-off, and then the very next sports memory that I have was Ayrton Senna dying at Imola. And he was my favorite driver back then. I loved him. I loved Senna. He's still my favorite driver today. And I think he's the greatest F1 driver of all time. All these people caught up on Max. Max is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Max is a phenomenal race car driver. Ayrton Senna, by far, is still the best race car driver to ever jump into a Formula One car. Hands down. And then I think the next memory I have, I remember the Flyers losing one of those Stanley Cups, getting swept in the 90s. And then, but the 90s, my head in the 90s is all ECW. Not enough people appreciate Jim Clark. We're gonna stop to have a conversation about Jim Clark real quick. I don't think people understand the year Jim Clark won his second world title in F1. Just how fucking good Jim Clark was. Jim Clark won like half the races in all disciplines that he entered that year. Or it was like over half of the race. He was so good. If Jim Clark had not died at Monza, we would be talking of him in the likes of Fangio with like 5 world titles. Without a doubt. I have no doubt that he would have won like 5 world titles. on a push. He could win an F1 ring on a put. Yeah, he was so unbelievably talented, so unbelievably talented. And the crazy thing is, he raced he raced multiple disciplines, you know, and he was quick in all of them. It wasn't like when Kimi Räikkönen tried NASCAR, and I love Räikkönen, but it wasn't like when he tried NASCAR and he was slow. It wasn't like when Alonso tried IndyCar and he was like middle of the pack. Jim Clark picked up GT3s and he was quick in them. He picked up F1, he was quick in it. Like he was good. He was so good. When we talk about the all-time greats, Jim Clark should. It's in Formula One especially. When we talk about the all-time greats, Jim Clark should be in that conversation because nobody dominated the sport like he did in the mid-'60s. He was incredible. His death at Monza was so early that it literally robbed the sport of what could have been one of the greatest race car drivers ever. Like Jim Clark is a great shout. He was fucking incredible, and he doesn't get talked about enough. Like I think Fangio doesn't. Every time people talk about the greatest, they look at Max and they look at Lewis and they look at Schumacher. And I'm like, and they look at maybe Prost and Senna. And I'm like, dude, Clark and Fangio should always be in that conversation. Because Clark had some serious talent, and Fangio obviously won 5. Like, that's no easy feat. I don't care that it was 51 to 56. Like, that's a hard feat to do, you know? Oh, yeah, take all the motorsports. The Mount Rushmore is Clark, Andretti. Which end? I'm sure. I'm assuming you mean Michael Andretti, Leob, and Van Gisbergen. My Mount Rushmore is probably Senna, Dale Earnhardt Sr., I would say Dale Earnhardt Sr., Senna. Probably Schumacher and maybe probably Clark or Lauda, one of the two. Mario, not Michael. Mario Andretti, yeah, not Michael, Marco, or Jeff. Yeah, I'd take Dale on a restrictor, but he could have done it in F1 on a. But could he have done it on a? It doesn't matter. Dale was so good at NASCAR. Like, just in NASCAR in general. Like, he was so revered. Like, no driver has come close to being as revered in NASCAR as Dale was. You know? And, I mean, he won 5 NASCAR championships, I think if I remember correctly. 5 or 6. I mean, he was the man. He was incredible. So Gordon maybe should be in that conversation a little bit too. He was a great racer. But, yeah. Right, here's the 2-2 pitch, too. Clipper to Cap Anson, sorry. And that's below the knees, 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That's grounded over to third. The throw on to first base is in time. That's the first out of the inning. That's 5-3. McBride goes to second. And that will bring up George Hall. Hall is 2 for 5 so far today. I also think Scott Dixon is the most underappreciated driver of all time. My hottest take on F1 is that the only reason Raikkonen or Button are world champions and Hamilton has 7 is because Williams couldn't afford Scott Dixon in 2002. I like that take. I think the reason Hamilton is a 7-time world champion is because the sport is more skewed towards like periods of dominance now than it was back in like the 70s and the 80s and the 60s. Like in the 60s, the field was a lot more level. In the 70s, it was a lot more level. Even in the early 90s, the field felt a little bit more level, where now is like It's a lot like the Premier League now, F1. The big boys dominate, and then everybody else is fed the scraps. And I don't feel like F1 was always like that. I felt like F1, you know, if you really engineered your car well enough, you doesn't matter who you were, you could compete. Now I feel like these smaller teams don't really have a level playing field to compete on. Especially now that they feed it, they've realigned it so that they're all like feeder teams, basically. Like Williams feeds into Mercedes, and you know, Red Toro Rosso feeds into Red Bull. I don't know what the fuck Toro Rosso is called now, but Toro Rosso feeds into Red Bull and all that shit. It creates the rifts between the teams that are harder to gap. I feel like, so the Button World Championship is a really interesting exception to that. I feel like, um, but Scott Dixon's a great driver. Yeah, I agree with him. I think Dixon's fantastic. Him and Will Power have basically dominated IndyCar for quite a while. So, my biggest brother with European F1 fans is that they don't. My biggest bugbear with European F1 fans is that they don't appreciate how good IndyCar drivers are by comparison. I mean, you'd have to be mad to think that Josef Newgarden doesn't have a better F1 career, all things considered, than Valtteri Bottas. I feel like it's underappreciated because they still do oval racing, but I feel like that's what makes IndyCar really unique, is that the season's split between oval and street. But IndyCar is, those cars are freaking quick, man. I mean, I do like that. So, right here is George Hall settling in, 2 for 5 so far today, both singles. Here's the first pitch to him. He's grounded that over to the second baseman. The throw's on to first. That's in time. And Hall is retired. That's going to bring up Ross Barnes. He is 0 for 2 with 3 walks. Clipper Flynn is on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Ross Barnes. Barnes is inside, ball 1. I think we'll see some more F1 drivers running Indy in the next 10 years, though. I'd put money on Lando running within 5 years. I agree with that. Maybe not 5 years, but I think that feels like a good way for them to extend their careers because it's very familiar to them. And we have some interesting tracks over here. That's to say the least, right? There's some really good tracks over here. Teams would certainly take him at IndyCar. Here's the one, and with F1 growing in popularity, those driver names coming over will have like an MLS effect where that'll go up in popularity as well. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's inside, ball 2, and it's 2-0. Right. 2-0 to Clipper Flynn. I'm sorry, 2-0 to Ross Barnes. We're about to get a raid. But I think at least. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That is shot in the center. Right at the center fielder. That is caught for the out. And Barnes will be retired. No runs on 1 hit. And they leave 1 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 9th. And it's 10-4 for Rockford. You mean Lando will run it whilst an active F1? Oh, okay. How would that even work? Don't the seasons overlap? I'm pretty sure the seasons overlap, don't they? Right. Unless you mean like they do it during summer break, like there's some, like F1 takes a summer break, so I'd imagine it would be that. That's a possibility. But yeah. Right. I am. We're into the bottom of the 9th. It'll be. Is that who's on? Patty Quinn is up to the plate. Sorry. Dick McBride on 97. And right. Here is the first pitch, too. Indy and Monaco used to be on the same day, but they've just shifted it to the calendar. Always have a spare seat for Indy, and Lando was often. I kind of miss that being on the same day, though, because you would get Memorial Day was always the best day. You know why? Memorial Day weekend. Because the Sunday before Memorial Day was always 8 a.m. Monaco Grand Prix. By the time the Grand Prix was done, right, it would be like 10:30, and you'd be sitting around going, right, 12 o'clock is the Indy 500. And then the Indy 500 comes on, and by the time that's done, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, and you're like, right, 6 o'clock is the Coca-Cola 600, which is the longest race in NASCAR. So that I really liked. So because you've always it would be like the one day a year I would sit around and be like, you know what? Let's just watch racing all day. You know what I mean? Right. Patty Quinn. First pitch to him. Lined in the left. Deep, but it's foul. By the time I'd watch Money, I'd burn out for Charlotte. That's fair. That's lined foul as well. Montreal's running head-to-head with Indy. Same time, I guarantee that last 1 year before F1 realized that's the dumbest financial idea they've ever heard. That Montreal's running head-to-head with the Indy 500, that is fucking stupid. That is very stupid. I mean, the only thing that could save their graces is the fact that one race is Canadian and the other is American. But, yeah, that's actually stupid. Right. Uh, 0-2 to count. Here's the pitch to Patty Quinn. And that's outside ball one. Here's the 1-2. That is popped up into center field, and that is caught for the out. That'll be the first out of the inning. Yeah, same start time unless either gets a rain delay. F1 isn't winning that battle in the North American TV market, and it'll be closed globally. I think you'd be surprised how big F1's gotten here. But Indy 500, you have the casual racing fan that's going to watch the Indy 500. They're not. That is the big thing that Indy's got going for them. Like the true racing fan is probably going to pick Montreal. Like there is a bunch of people who are just F1 fans. They're going to pick Montreal. And there's a bunch of people who are true racing fans, like they love all forms of racing, I mean. They're probably going to pick the Indy, or they might start with the Montreal race, because the Montreal race is only 2 hours, and the Indy 500 is going to be a lot more than that. So they'll probably watch Montreal and then just switch over to Indy once Montreal's done, because if you watch they both go the same time, and you watch the Montreal Grand Prix. By the time you switch over to Indy, you're going to be on like the last 75 laps. But then, or maybe last 50 laps. But either way. And then you're going to have all of the North American casual sports fan that just wants to watch them, which is a very huge majority of the market. And they're going to put the Indy 500 on because it's the Indy 500. So... But those people were never going to watch F1 to begin with. Here's the first pitch to Frank Norton, and that is taken for a ball, 1-0. Norton 0-3 so far today. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That is lined into left, foul. to finish the drive for 5. My dad hates Helio. I don't mind him. But my dad hates Helio Castroneves. Here's one pitch. He's outside. 2-1. I like that Helio. There was a really bad accident that Tony Kanaan got into the 1 year, and Helio basically helped Kanaan get out of the car. Because I think he was upside down with the car starting to catch fire, and Helio basically dragged him out of the car the 1 year in Indy. If I remember correctly, I might not. Here's the 2-1. That's high and away, ball 3. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. And Frank Norton's got a walk. One on, one out. I think Helio is the only driver who comes close to Senna in the best Brazilian conversation. He also has a far better origin story. I agree. I just on the origin story. I don't know enough about Brazilian drivers in general, right? But there's no doubting his quality. That's for sure. Here's the first pitch to Bill Lennon, and that's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's taken inside for a ball, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's taken away, ball 2. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's grounded over to second for 1 on the first, double play, and that finishes the ball game. 6-4-3, double play, and that will do it. No runs, no hits in the final 9th, and this one is locked up. The final score here: Rockford 10, Troy 4. We go over the box scores now. When he was young and his family couldn't afford him to race anymore, so Rubens Barrichello's dad stepped in to foot the bill. Years later, he repaid Rubens by insisting in his contract that he be his teammate in an open seat at a 500 so he could live his dream of running the race. That's really cool. That's an awesome origin story. That is an awesome story. Right. I am so over time. Like this, I wasn't even going to go for 3.5, 3 3/4. Like I was going to go 3 3/4 hours, but baseball never usually takes me that long. So let's get out of here. Let me go through the final score sheets for the players, and then we'll get out of here. Okay. We'll start with the Rockford Forest Citys. Cap Anson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 4 at bats. He finished with 2 hits. He scored 2 runs. He had 1 sacrifice, and he had 2 RBIs, and he had 3 fielding errors. He also had a base on balls. Neither am I. That's why I commentated. All right, George Hall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at bats. 2 hits, 2 runs. Ross Barnes only had 3 actual at-bats. He did not score a hit, but he had 3 base on balls, a stolen base, and he scored a run. Lip Pike. He had 5 at-bats. He had 2 RBIs. He had a stolen base. He scored a run. He struck out once. Doug Allison. 5 at-bats. 2 hits. 2 RBIs. 1 run. Joe Start. 5 at-bats. 3 hits, 1 RBI. George Bird, 5 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 RBI, 2 strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts for an 1871 game tonight, actually. George Wright, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 runs. Did I miss any stolen bases, by the way? I don't think I did. I think I got the stolen bases so far. Yeah, I did. Right. And then finally, Dick McBride, 5 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 run. I forgot the doubles and the singles. So, uh, let's see. Did anybody double or single here on the Rockford side? I could have sworn, actually, I have 1 triple on George Wright. That was a leadoff triple. Everything else was a single. Oh, and McBride hit a double. Everything else was a single. Wright also had a fielding error. Right. The total at bats for the Rockford Forest Citys: 4 and 6 is 10, and 3 is 13, and 5 is 18, and 5 is 23, and 5 is 28, and 5 is 33, and 5 is 38, and 5 is 43 at bats for the Rockford Forest Citys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 runs. We know that already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They have 17 hits. Where the hell did I get? How did I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I forgot to write the hits down for Lip Pike, who had 2 hits. He also struck out once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 hits. Of those hits, 1 double, 1 triple, no home runs, 4 base on balls, 5 fielding errors, 3 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases, 1 sacrifice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 RBIs as well. We'll come back to Dick McBride, the pitcher, in a moment. Jimmy, now for the home Troy Haymakers. Jimmy Hallinan, 5 at bats, not a single hit. I'm sorry, 4 at bats, not a single hit. 4 at bats, not a single hit. He was also caught stealing once. Bill Craver, 3 at bats because he was hit by the pitch with 1. He stole 2 bases. He scored 1 run. He made a fielding error. Ezra Sutton, 4 at bats, 1 hit. It was a double. It was an RBI, and he scored a run. Fred Tracy, 4 at bats, no hits. Jim Foran, 4 at bats, 1 hit, and a stolen base. Patty Quinn, 4 at bats, no hits, a stolen base, and a fielding error. Frank Norton, 3 at bats, no hits, and a base on balls, a fielding error as well. Bill Lennon had 4 at bats. He had 1 hit. It was a double. It had 2 RBIs on it. And then Harry Wright only had 1 at bat. He did not get a hit. And lastly, Joe Simmons had 2 at bats. He did not get a hit. Everybody is leaving this at nice. Welcome to baseball. Chasing lane. I know you know, but I'm just saying, welcome to baseball. Right. Total at bats for the Troy Haymakers: 7, 11, 15, 19, 23, 26, 30, 33 at bats for the Troy Haymakers. 1, 2, but there's got to be more runs because they scored 4. So I have that run. I have that run. Who scored the other runs? I have that run. I have that run. Oh, you know what? I never wrote the runs down in the second. Jim Foran had the run, and so did Patty Quinn. Had a run because it was an RBI. It was an RBI double, 2 RBI doubles. So Jim Foran had 1 run, and so did Patty Quinn. So that's 4 runs total. That's been corrected. In total hits, 1, 2. I have 3 hits. Yeah, 3. They scored 4 runs on 3. That's actually impressive. They had 3 fielding errors. They had 1 base on balls. They had 3 fielding errors. They did not strike out. They did steal 4 bases. No sacks, 3 RBIs as well. And 1 hit was they had 2 doubles as well. From the most random cities, yeah. I know Troy, New York exists because it's the birthplace of Shane Douglas. The rest of, yeah, the franchise, yeah. Yeah, but they existed back then. These are all real teams. Um, so, and that's what they were called, the Haymakers and whatnot. Right, so the pitching is where I'm going to get a little wonky here because they used 3 pitches. I think Joe Simmons got the loss, right? No, Harry Rank got the loss. Okay. So, Harry Rank gets the loss. I have his pitch count at 61. That's correct. He did pitch 3 innings. He's responsible for 1 base on balls. He also struck out 1. He gave up 5. He gave up 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 of which were earned. What's up, Kadava? You caught us right at the end, my man. But welcome in. Good to have you here. I thought we were going to get a raid because I was listening to another Out of the Park baseball guy because I like to do that when I stream Out of the Park. I usually put on like whoever's live, like Dr. Dynastic or Laptop Hound or Max LP90 sometimes or whomever it is. And there was one guy who was live and he was like, "Oh, I can raid this guy, but I don't know who he is, so I'm just going to end." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I thought we were going to get one at the end here, like at some point in the 9th, but we didn't. Right. Joe Simmons pitched 4 innings. I have his pitch count at 62. That's correct. Okay. I think he had 1 base on balls. He had 3 base on balls. Wow. He struck out 2. Yep. How many hits? I have him given up. He gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs. And then lastly, Clipper Flynn, 20 pitches. Yeah, that's correct. 20 pitches. He actually did really well. He's an outfield guy. 2 hits, no strikeouts, no walks, no earned runs, and no runs. I can see. Yeah, yeah. Right. Dick McBride. He went all 9 innings. I have his pitch count at just 111 for 9 innings. That's pretty good. Even in the modern era, that would be considered good. And that is true. He had 111 pitches. I have him at 2 walks. He did give up. No, he gave up 1 walk. 1 walk. He struck out. He didn't strike out anybody. He gave up 3 hits. Sean, welcome in, Sean. Speaking of raids,
intend
good
to
Lord.
live by my own code now.
Welcome in, Sean. 4 runs, 3 earned runs. Right. I owe Sean a shout out. Let's give Sean a shout out. Guys, if you aren't following Sean, he is so fucking awesome. He's a Kiwi football manager streamer who's doing a journeyman, and he was in Malaysia right now. Unless you left Malaysia, I can't remember, Sean. But go give him a follow. He's a super kind individual. Sean does FM. Here's a clip of him playing FM 26 even. Oh, that is a nice youth intake. Jeez. Welcome in. If you're new on the channel, my name is Benakage. I got to go close your tab, Sean. Give me a second, man. My name is Benakage. We do play some Football Manager ourselves. I'm actually in the middle of the off season in my FM save, so we're a bit. FM is parked for a few days while I shoot through the off season. But yeah, how's it going, mate? Now Wellington. Oh, nice. Ooh, a wild Sean appears. Evening, handsome. Yes. So my name's Benakage. We do play Football Manager. I have a save in FM23 called the longest save that we're currently doing. I just moved to Iceland in that save, but I have to get through the off season, so you're not going to see that save until about Christmas Day. We play all sorts of games on here. We play Out of the Park baseball, Action Time in. We've played F1 games. We've played Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation. We play Pangya, which is like a free-to-play anime golf game. We've played Hearts of Iron 4 before on the stream. We do a little bit of everything on the stream. It's quite fun. We're all about having a good time. Don't mind the sports score bot. I am a huge sports fan. NHL, MLB, Premier League, MLS are the main leagues I watch. But I also enjoy a bit of cricket as well. And yeah, We are playing out of the park baseball currently. I actually just finished the game. We are the out of the park baseball save. We are commentating through the 1871 season. The lovely thing about out of the park is it's like Football Manager for baseball, but you can do any historical season. You can start your save in any historical season going all the way back to the very first year of professional baseball in the United States and the world, which was 1871, and that's where we're at. Um, so welcome in, Sean. But you did catch us right at the end, so I'm going to wrap up a little bit because it is currently 10:30 over here. Um, but yeah, man, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. We're back with FM on probably Christmas Day. In all honesty, all day Christmas Day. Dick McBride gets credited with the win. I have to record that. It is Harry Wright that gets credited with the loss. Rockford move. Oh, cool. Done a bit of MLB The Show, but never this game. This game's incredible. It's literally FM for baseball. And the base game has, I think, the Korean Baseball Organization in it. It has the MLB. It has, I think it has 6 leagues. I think it has the Nippon Professional Baseball League, and it has, I think it has 3 others, and I can't remember. I don't know if I don't know if the Aussie League is one of them because they're pretty big on baseball. But it might have like the Dominican League or something in it. But right. So Rockford, the team that I'm managing, wins 10-4. We improved to 6-9 on the season. Troy goes to 4-11. That's a really bad loss for Troy. Elsewhere in the league, the Cleveland Forest Citys have managed to outlast the New York Mutuals 8-6. New York falls to 4-4. Cleveland goes to 5-5. What does that do for the standings? Our league's on life support at the moment. The Melbourne team is fucked off to the Korean second division. Oh, wow. I keep clicking scores and not standings. That's what I want. I've been testing out the Square Cricket Malarkey, and it's reasonably fun. Less now I'm logging again. I was a genius for 5 minutes. Oh, you're losing again. Okay. Here's the standings as they are after tonight's game. The Boston Red Stockings, the American League is unchanged. They didn't play tonight. So the Boston Red Stockings lead the American League at 8-2. Philadelphia Athletics are a game behind at 7-3. Cleveland Forest Citys are 3 games back of that at 5-5. Washington Olympics are currently sitting at 5-6, 3.5 games back. The National League standings are as follows. Chicago White Stockings wins puts them 5-3. Actually, not 5-4, but 5-3. They are a game ahead of the Fort Wayne Kekiungas. The New York Mutuals are 4-5. They're a game and a half back. We moved to 2.5 back at 6-9. Troy is now 4.5 back at 4-11. We're going to finish today. That'll save the game. The next game that we are going to commentate is going to be not tomorrow. There's no stream tomorrow. It will be Tuesday, and we are going to be the 6-9 Rockford Forest Citys traveling to Cleveland, Ohio. So Rockford, Illinois to Cleveland, Ohio to face the 5-5 Cleveland Forest Citys. If you guys don't know, by the way, because we're doing a historical save, every year that you advance, first off, by the way, these are all real players. These are all the real players that played back in the day. Cap Anson, you could go look him up. He's in the Hall of Fame. Cap Anson, Ross Barnes, Lip Pike, they're all Hall of Famers. Dick McBride, Hall of Famers. Al Barker, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, they're all in the Hall of Fame. These are all the real players that played on the teams back then. The league also, the really wonderful thing about Out of the Park is as you play the seasons, the historical players that played the game back then come into the save. So like Shoeless Joe Jackson started playing in like 1903. When you get to 1903, he appears in the save. And you can pick him up, you can sign him, he could go anywhere. You know, I think it's really awesome, actually. So, wow, a random English guy, yeah. But what do you call it? When Babe Ruth comes into the league in 20, I think, Babe Ruth will appear. And you can make it so that he is the Bronx Bomber, the Babe Ruth, the famous baseballer. Or you can make it that he is a random development path, and you don't know what he's going to be like. And that's what we set. We set random development. So we're going to get all the historical players come through. We have no clue if they're going to be good or not. But that's where we're going to be. So Tuesday's game will be Rockford versus Cleveland. The next game after that is the 13th of June, 1871. That'll be Chicago versus New York. Then we have Washington at Rockford and Philadelphia at Washington after that. This is the next game that chat will actually get to vote on. They will get to pick whether they want to see Chicago at Philly or Washington at Boston. That's the 18th of June. We got a few more days to go to. The original season, I think it's under this setting here. The original season is 32 games. So every team plays 32 games this first season, and most teams have 10 games now. So we're getting through the season. We're about a third of the way through, I would say. Right. I'm going to save the game, and then I'm going to go to the OOTP start soon screen. If you're on the YouTube, by the way, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.